Welcome back, everyone, to Monsters Den. Today, we're going to be discussing Berserk Deluxe Edition 3, featuring volumes 6 through 9. But we're also going to be discussing a little bit of 8, which you'll see here soon. So, with me today, once again, for the third time coming, is Kai the Crusader.
Hello. I just realized you said 6 through 9, but a little bit of 8. Isn't 8 in that volume?
I meant a little bit a little bit of 5. Guys, I had a hard day at work today. So sorry if brain not working well today. Kai's gonna do most of the discussion, unfortunately.
Woo! That's fine.
So this is gonna be his show. It's gonna take over. I'm gonna change my YouTube icon to his.
Hell yeah. Hi
he
guys.
he gets
I'm
ownership
Kai
of
the
the
Crusader.
channel.
Welcome to my channel. I don't really make a whole lot of stuff anymore.
And
Just because time and work and all that.
knowing your
But
luck, you're probably
yeah.
gonna make my channel bigger.
Oh, that would be kind of fun, honestly. I just hijack your channel.
But oh wow, the whole 4 subscribers that are probably my own friends.
Yeah.
All to yourself. How greedy.
They're
So
my channel.
to catch up the audience to exactly where we're going to start talking, this is going to be the in volume 6. Did I say 6? 5, right?
No,
4,
volume 6.
5, 6. I think it's
Basically,
7 through 9.
Casca.
Yes, it's in.
The
Sorry,
Casca chapter.
I screwed up the entire opening entirely. Um,
No worries.
the
We are
second
starting with
the second half, or the very tail end of volume 6, where it starts
mhm.
at the Casca chapters, and our main discussion is going to be volume 7 through 9. There we go. Okay, I'm getting into the groove of it now.
Awesome. We are good to go.
Okay,
But yeah,
so do you have anything to start us off with, Kai? It sounded like you're about to get into it.
I am pretty much ready to go. Yes, just to backtrack a little bit in the previous chapter, for those of you who may have missed the last episode, the Band of the Hawk is now out on the open battlefield, taking on the shit, I forgot what they're called, the whale
Right, the
guys.
whales, yeah, whatever. Some schmucks.
The Yeah, it was like the blue rhinos or the whatever the hell. Pretty much Guts has finally met his match. He's faced off against a guy who is showing to be really strong and really cool, and Guts is just like, shit, how do I fight this dude?
Yeah. So the first bulletin point I have here is 8 on the 4chaner. So this is the guy who
Actually, wait a minute. I'm off. It is the blue, or it is the whale guys. It's not the rhino dudes. I'm way off.
it's no big deal.
The rhino guys are later.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I am also tired from work.
All right. It's all right. With both our brain cells, we'll come up with thoughts.
We'll
Something will
do
be coherent
something.
in there.
Hmm.
But yeah, this is a 8 on the 4chaner from
Yeah, this
threat
is.
to schmuck.
Oh yeah, this. Oh god, this fucking guy. This is the guy who's like, through my like, I call him the JoJo guy because he does like the whole like my JoJo technique passed down through the thousand families,
Ah, that's a good
whatever
comparison.
shit. And I was like, would you shut the fuck up, dude? And I love that even in universe, guys is like, shut the fuck up, dude.
This,
We do not care.
This guy had like 2 pages of himself just to spout out like shit you would see on on like the most sexist forums ever.
Yeah, you get like 2 pages, and then he becomes a recurring character for the next couple of chapters. And he's just like, each time you see him, he's just an insufferable ass.
This is
And it's
kind
not
of
even like the
when
sexist thing that gets me. It's just the, oh, my family technique of this, my family technique of that,
a
my
little bit of a
family
nepo
technique
baby
of
stuff going
hiding
on.
behind my brother and letting my brother go and fight my battles for me because I'm too scared of the big man with the big sword.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious he's kind of meant to be a more of a rival for Casca for obvious reasons.
Yeah, he's definitely more of a rival for Casca.
But
And even Casca gets sick of him, where she's just like, God damn it, would you please leave me alone, buddy?
yeah, honestly, I kind of I was looking forward to him just leaving. Like I get it, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of
Which makes it when
Casca,
he finally does kick it, you're just like, yes, finally. God damn, this guy needed to shut up.
it's quite a few chapters away. The second bulletin point I have here is periods. Am I right, ladies?
Yeah.
This was kind of um I don't know how to feel
You don't
about
generally see
adding.
that in series, do you?
Yeah, I don't know quite how to feel about that. I think it's cool as a novelty, being like, hey, here's something that's tough for women sometimes. But there's also, in anime, it's so common to ignore a person's health unless it's kind of a point of like, to examine.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like this is a show, not a show. Anime is a genre where people get like their hands like deactivated, all their bones are crushed, but they can still slice the sword easily. But cramps
Hmm.
is where it stops, and it's like, well, okay, sure.
It wasn't just the period cramp. It was also like she was getting sick. She was in the middle of like having a flu or whatever it was. That Guts mentioned that she has a fever. Like when he
Yeah,
pulled her out of the river, he's like, "Shit, she's sick too. Fuck." But it is
yeah.
funny because going back to the whole periods, like there are girls that I know and women in my family that I know that when they have periodic cramps, it's like it knocks them on their ass. They can't get out of bed, or it's like that bad.
There's different levels of intensity from what my sisters have told me, and each woman kind of handles it differently.
Hmm.
But it's kind of weird because we're two dudes being like, "Ha, periods, am I right? Am I right? It's I don't know. They're probably
Yeah,
pretty
I was just
bad.
like, oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they're horrible. It's basically every muscle inside of your stomach slowly trying to kill itself. So like flex your stomach muscles really fucking hard, like your abs and all that, and just hold that muscle for as long as you can. I figure that's probably what it feels like.
Yeah, I'm
And that
I'm
burning sensation of just like, God damn, this fucking sucks.
it's not great, and I guess Casca had to deal with it in the battlefield, which is
Yep,
a pretty bad time for it to happen.
for sure.
Do you have anything
Especially
else?
up against this guy.
Exactly. Do you have anything else to say about that fight in particular? Because it's mostly kind of a pretty ordinary fight in my eyes. Besides this schmuck Adon.
Oh yeah. With There's not really a whole lot of else other than like Guts comes to the rescue, yeah, and he's just basically thrashes this fucking guy.
That's what Guts does.
Yeah. It's
So
actually kind of surprising that Guts didn't kill him right off the bat.
his destiny is saved for another time.
Yep. He just basically sliced half, or not half, like his cheek open,
Yeah.
and that was that. And then Casca faints, which, okay, you're gonna notice this throughout the series, and Guts notices throughout this series. Casca has a really bad habit of falling off cliff sides into bodies of water.
Kai, you know what's my next note? I put here Casca falls off a cliff and saved by Guts. If I had a nickel every time this happened.
You will have quite a few nickels. Casca falls into bodies of water quite a lot. So much so that even Guts mentions it later on in the series, where he's just like, Casca and water do not mix. Keep her away from fucking water.
Well, someone as hot headed as her, she must be a fire type. Can't let her near it.
Yeah. Or she's just so dehydrated that she's got to jump into it every chance she gets.
Gotta do it. Um, my next note that I have here is Mira started to get really horny. So this is gonna be something that is gonna be more obvious later on, but I feel this is the beginning where Mira wanted to draw Casca in more specific angles with a lot less clothes.
Uh, I guess. I never had any problems with her being sick underneath the tree or being naked.
I'm not saying there is a problem. It's just this is where you start. I'm guilty of it too. Of moments of like, man, if I can just add this attractive character doing this, and I'm sure Mira just like was really in the mood to draw beautiful women with less clothes.
Well, I don't know. Like they're doing what you're supposed to do in survival situations, though, which is like if you're soaking wet and it's freezing cold out, you strip your clothes off because your clothes would literally kill you.
Yeah, and this one it's a in this one it's a little more normal. This is the start of it, and this is I'm gonna bring back this point later on.
All right, because I was gonna say like I personally I don't have the whole like gooner brain, I guess. Whenever I like, I'm not one of those guys where I see attractive women, I'm like, oh, sucks. I'm just like, oh yeah, she's attractive, and even if they're naked, I'm like, all right, like whatever. I don't really give a shit.
But that's besides the point. So as uh Casca is cascading down the river. That one took me a while to make note of.
Our boy Guts jumps in after her and
Yeah.
saves her,
So
even providing CPR or yeah, CPR or whatever the fuck it is.
yeah. So at this point, Casca and Guts' relationship has been warming up, but this was definitely the chapter where it made the biggest leap in my eyes.
Oh yeah, where he risks his own life to save her. Because this is the first time where either one of them has risked their lives for the other.
And you
That is
start,
without it being a command. Because
yeah.
technically Casca did save Guts, but she was commanded to do it. So she like begrudgingly did it. Well, this is the first time where one of them was like actually stretching their neck out for no other reason just to do it.
Hmm. And you also get some of the bonding in the form of Casca telling her backstory and
Mhm.
saying why she is the way she is.
Exactly. Where she was a young child that was sold off to a nobleman, and the nobleman is going to turn her into his own little plaything, only for Griffith to come and save the day.
Hmm. And this
And
was,
I really like how Griffith does it as well. Because
mhm.
like rather than him killing the nobleman, he gives his sword to Casca and is just like, you do whatever you want. And then she's the one that kills him.
And she even mentions she doesn't even know if she intentionally stabbed the guy who was attacking him, or if the sword just got in the way and she got lucky.
Yeah, he
But
just fell on the blade.
either way, she felt inspired enough where it it wasn't enough just to latch on to Griffith. I think the way Griffith did it also kind of helped her feel like she could do it.
Hmm.
And it's a small seed that I'm sure grew over time where she feels like Griffith is her inspiration source, and it even travels throughout the her journey with Griffith. How he kept getting or she kept getting more and more attached to him because of those reasons. She started to feel
Or
more emotionally reliant on him, even though he didn't really reciprocate that often.
oh yeah, for sure. Like she became like well, this is like what I was saying in the last one. She worships Griffith. You know, she
Hmm.
idolizes him so much. And you really start seeing it when she was a child when he saves her and she's like, "Oh my god, he's my guardian angel. I have to stay with him."
Yeah, even was his name Judo, the other Band of the Hawk
Yeah,
member?
you know.
Yeah, he explicitly mentions that quote as well.
Mhm. Which is funny because this is in this flashback you also see a young Judo, Pippin, and a Corcus.
They look exactly the same.
Except for Corcus. Corcus actually does look younger.
That's
He
true.
doesn't look as ugly as he usually is.
Whoa, all right.
Hey, come on now. Corcus is not that good.
He is a little sleazy.
He is.
Um, but yeah, during
But it
this
does make you
scene,
wonder though, like how long has those three been following around Griffith at this point?
who knows? They might have all been, they might have all leaped out of some childhood trauma themselves.
Probably because I know Judo did mention, and we're going to talk about this later on, in one of the other volumes, where uh, Porcus was originally a thief, and they picked him up from like a band of robbers at the Band of the Hawk beat, and then they
Hmm.
were just like, "Hey, you want to join us?" And he's like, "Sure," but he was originally just that. He was just a robber.
Yeah, he might have just
But
all.
for Pippin, I don't know where Pippin came from, and then they never actually. I don't think they ever actually state where Ricket comes in, because this is before Ricket joins. If
That's
you've
true.
noticed, like because Ricket's not there yet, so it is before Ricket joins. So Casca joins, and then Ricket, and then Guts.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like the idea of never knowing where Pippin came from.
I do too, because Pippin being kind of the strong, mysterious guy is fun.
Yeah.
He's just the big, strong, silent guy who I think has maybe 2 lines of dialogue in the entire series.
Yeah, it's pretty fitting.
Yeah.
But even within this Casca flashback, you get to see a little bit of what even Griffith, kind of like a glimpse of his own backstory as well.
Mhm.
So there's two major scenes in Casca's backstory that kind of also characterize Griffith a little bit more. The first one was the dead boy that was working underneath Griffith for a little bit.
Mhm.
So this was like a minor servant he
The
had of some sort, and he was
squire.
on the
Yeah, he was
battlefield.
like
A
a
squire,
squire.
that's what it was. And he was on the battlefield, and something ended up killing him. And Griffith started reflecting on, I suppose, what does sacrifice and moving forward really mean?
Mhm.
And this is the most empathy I've seen Griffith give so far in any part of the
Yes.
show or the manga. Sorry,
Mhm.
it's one of those
By
things
far.
where I keep thinking where Griffith is such a hard character to read because he he he
He
barely
wears
shows
his
emotions.
mask so fucking well.
Yeah, but then you
He
see
does not
these
let his mask drop.
the moments he
Like,
does though they tend to be very extreme emotions on opposite sides of the morality compass. You see him
mhm.
be a genuinely good guy person like this, right? It almost feels heroic, weeping over a
Mhm.
dead boy that didn't deserve anything.
Mhm. He's like, "This poor kid, he didn't deserve to die on a battlefield."
To the moment where he hears that last discussion, Count Julius and his son got murdered.
And he smiles.
Yeah, so it's such an interesting way to think about Griffith, and this goes double for the next characterization scene. The
Where
one
he
where he
sleeps
gets,
with the
I don't want to
that
say
count.
assaulted.
No, he doesn't get assaulted. He went in fully willing. He just basically sold his own body out to a creep in order to get funding for his army.
Yeah, I mean, he might have been assaulted. Maybe he set standards and the old man didn't follow them. We don't really know what happened for the
I
best.
don't I don't think he assault or he did any of that. I think he straight up was just like, "Hey, you could fuck me in the ass if you pay for my army."
And there's definitely a point where Griffith doesn't want to show that it doesn't bother him.
Oh yeah, it bothers him fully. He does not like it.
It
But he's
really,
still
really does.
trying to hold that mask up of I got to be a strong leader. I got to be a strong leader. He almost lets it drop with Casca. He is so fucking close to letting it drop with Casca, but as soon as she starts tearing up, he puts his mask right back up. And I think this is an extremely important moment for Griffith because, as you'll know, like I'm sure you've probably noticed, as the series goes on, he becomes more and more distant from the rest of the Band of the Hawk.
Yeah.
And I think it starts with this moment here, where for the first time he's almost lets his guard down and lets someone in, but then completely shuts them out and just like, no, I have to do this by myself. I have to be the strong, cold leader, which is why he goes from literally self harming himself to then suddenly being like, oh, it's nothing, it's fine, it's okay, Costco, you don't need to cry, to
Yeah.
being the comforting type. And it just goes to show he's one of those guys where he cannot let go of his mask. He cannot let people in. He is so closed off from everyone else. Even when he's surrounded by people, he alienates himself.
Mm-hmm. With people he trusts at that.
Yeah, and with people that he trusts on top of that.
Yeah, so he let the mask down in probably the worst way possible. And I think that also adds to why he wants to ironically put the mask back on, is because he doesn't know how to deal with his emotions unless it's an extreme way.
Hmm.
So even I'm sure he is self-aware that he has no control over his emotions. The best thing to do is hold back and uh, tough it out.
I, he is a tea kettle type person where he holds his emotions back for as long as he can, but then eventually it's going to boil over and it's going to come out as like vengeance. And you see that later on
Hmm.
where he's holding back all this anger, rage, resentment, whatever, what have you. He's been holding it for so long that finally, when it's too much for him, it all just comes bubbling out, just pouring out.
Yeah. And to be fair,
But
this
you see
also
little
happens to a certain
glimpses
extent
of
with
the.
all the characters so far.
Oh yeah,
But Griffith is the most extreme example.
Griffith is the most extreme example. Funny enough, I think as the series goes on, Guts becomes the most like emotionally mature person out of everyone, which is really funny when you
Honestly,
think about it.
it doesn't take that long from this point,
No,
but
it doesn't.
we can get a little bit more into details with that, but I want to talk a little bit more about kind of the whole dynamic that's now created and maybe themes of Berserk now that we know Griffith and Casca's backstory as well.
Mhm.
So I probably named this poorly, but I named this bullet point the trio assault trauma bond. Um,
I mean that is essentially what's going on with Guts and Casca is that they're trauma bonding.
and Griffith as well.
You know? Yeah, and Griffith. But in this scene, because remember, it is just a backstory. It's her telling Guts everything about her life, and Guts just being like, "Damn, all right,
And I think in that light, telling I think Guts also understood Griffith a little bit more as well.
yeah,
So it also kind of helped Griffith indirectly in my eyes. But seeing that the three characters have gone through assault like this as
mhm,
children makes me think two different things, and I kind of wonder which one it is. It's that um, this happens a lot in the world of Berserk, and this is just another story in the pile. Or B is that it's specifically happened to these three to show that they are at the bottom of the pyramid, working themselves like all the way from the top.
mm. You're not entirely wrong on either of those. It does happen a lot in the world of Berserk. There's a lot of like sexual
Okay.
assault that goes on in here.
Yeah, I mean it won't be the last one,
No, by far, no.
but to see that all three have it, I do feel like it is a theme that Mira might be trying to set up. And again, I'm not entirely sure. Here's a speculation I have from this chapter alone.
Mhm.
So, my next bulletin point is Coscuts and Guts' teamwork is really fucking cool. So this is gonna be
Oh yeah,
after the scene where
where they bond
they're
together.
yeah, they're trauma bonding
So
together,
I
and
do
the
want to point
original
out before we
yeah
leave this scene that you finally see why Casca hates Guts in this scene because she points out that she all she's ever wanted was Griffith to have eyes for her. Like that's all she's ever wanted was for him to show concern for her. And for whatever reason, he picked up an interest in Guts. And
yeah.
that drives jealousy through Casca. And that's why she hated Guts so much. Because she's the why couldn't it be me? It should have been me meme, you know?
There's more added where it's also the addition of Guts doesn't value that because he is
Yeah,
very reckless and doesn't really give a shit about Griffith's attention. And Costco says that that's what makes her the most mad at the the cherry on top of it all.
is that he's indifferent towards it. He doesn't care.
Yeah, why are you someone who doesn't care gets to have his attention when I'm putting all my effort in? And she feels it's
Exactly.
unfair.
Which, in a sense, I suppose it is. But also, remember what I was saying in the last episode where I don't particularly think Griffith necessarily loves Guts so much so as he loves the control he has over Guts.
Hmm. Yeah, it's hard to tell, and I can't really put my full thoughts out until we get into a specific scene later that makes me kind of question everything about Griffith up until that point.
Hmm.
But
But
yeah, do you have
and we have the legendary moment of Guts versus 100 men,
essentially, yeah. This
which,
is uh
yeah,
what
it's a
I
legendary moment because this is literally for a lot of the rest of the series. He's known as like, wait a minute, you're the dude who killed 100 men?
yeah. It's really a cool like medieval title you can have on yourself.
Yeah.
Guts, the killer of 100 men. Although I want to add that from this point onward, and this I would argue this stretches maybe even all the way towards the middle of like volume 9. Oh my god, dude, this manga becomes so suspenseful.
Oh yeah.
Every moment
You're at the edge of your seat the entire time you're reading it. It's like
I
you can't just read one chapter at a time. You got to read like 3 or 4.
dude, this manga is so good where it doesn't even boil down to the chapter. I want to know what happens on the next page.
Yep.
That's such a rarity to feel, and Berserk does such a good job with tension. I was gonna point out how in this battle with Casca and Guts working
Guts.
together to defeat the rhinos, not the rhinos, the whales.
Mhm.
There were so many moments where one slip up could have killed them both, and there's a constant tension of is anyone gonna come and save us?
Mhm.
And in my mind, while I'm reading this, I'm like, any moment now, any moment now, any moment now. And Mira keeps hanging that carrot on the stick for a long, long fucking time.
Yep, it's like any moment now, the Band of the Hawk's going to show up, and it keeps going longer and longer and longer, and then it gets to the point where Guts is fighting so hard that he's taking arrows, his sword's getting dull. He's like, "Oh shit, Guts is about to go down at any moment because he's getting the shit beat out of him," but he's still going.
Yeah, and you get to see
And then
moments of Guts and Casca kind of working together and seeing how that
Mhm.
dynamic goes.
A strength build and a dex build working side by side.
I think most interesting is we already know how Guts fights. Even though it does evolve over the series, it's the same one. Just kill him in one shot. I don't fucking care how it goes. If it hits them, they're dead.
Mhm.
Casca, even though she's nerfed right now, she is a lot more deliberate with her battle style. Where I've noticed she doesn't go for "I'm gonna explode you into a billion pieces." It's more so this is your exact weak point. Weak point. I just need to get you off of me right now.
Yep, she goes for things like your wrist, your arteries, your neck, any little weak points. That's where she's hitting guys.
She is even she's not as strong as Guts, but she's a lot more deliberate with the way
She's a
she
lot more
she attacks.
precise before she hits.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Compared to guys who's just like fuck it, unga bunga mode, hit you as hard as I can.
Whatever opening I see, I'm just gonna fucking hit you.
Yep.
And
And you even see it in the way that Casca fights, where Casca's doing a lot more acrobatics. She's doing backflips, she's doing like little twirls and things like that. Well,
mhm,
Guts just charges guys.
yeah,
He just runs straight at them.
and I think that's really cool because you don't really see those styles come out in something as simple as swords pretty often.
Mhm. And the way that Mira depicts the action, it's so easy to follow and tell what they're doing too.
hmm So in a lot of action scenes with say a speedy character, you would often see blurs onto the next page to show how fast they are. But what Mira does is that he draws on the same panel, he draws what the three poses that character went through while the other person is still doing that first pose.
Yeah.
It's so hard to draw that because you essentially now went from drawing one character to four characters.
Mhm. And you'll even see it later on where he also uses it as a way to show like just how fast a character is moving, where there's one guy is moving like 4 or 5 times and the other dude's still just standing there in the same spot trying to hit him and just can't.
It's fantastic. And once again, we say it so many times, but it deserves it for how much work he put in. Mira once again doing an amazing job with the artwork.
For sure.
So
Still, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, manga artists in the world.
it's definitely up there. He deserves a trophy for it. um so I have nothing else to really talk about the fight on a very analytical standpoint, other than of course, Guts aura farms and his fucking panel of him sitting under a tree with his fucking
I
sword.
fucking love that moment. That is by far one of my favorite moments as well, is the aftermath where Casca gets saved by Judo and the rest of the scouts, and they're like, which there's your fucking payoff. It's finally like, oh, there they are. God damn, it took them long enough to find them. And then so they run off to the battlefield and they're just searching the battlefield and they're just like, there are so many fucking dead here. Where the hell is Guts? only to see him sitting under a tree, you know, presumably dead. Yeah, he looks like he's
Hmm.
bleeding out all over the place. Costco runs up to him, and he's just like, "Fucking stop shaking me, please. I'm trying to sleep."
He didn't even need the help. Man, look at this dude.
Yeah, he's like, like my wounds are just now healing. Why are you shaking me?
That
But
moment
you
was
do see a
great.
moment with Costco where like Costco's now concerned for Guts, and you don't usually see her concerned for Guts.
Yeah, this is where I mentioned before, where this is the very first big jump you see with
Mhm.
Casca caring for him.
Exactly, because if this was Costco earlier, she would just like fucking let the big dummy die. I don't give a shit. Well, now
I
she's
still
like,
think
we have to go back and find him.
I still think she would care, but she would roll her eyes before
Yeah.
saved her. I think now she legitimately cares for. I want to make sure he's okay.
Mhm. Not to mention, at this point, he's saved her twice. Where not only did he help her or save her from the river, but in the very beginning of the battle, he took multiple arrow shots for her, where he jumped in the way so she could get out of there.
This is on top of the fact that she gave her the advantage of trying to flee the battle, as
Yeah,
Gus is going to handle it
he's
on his
like,
own.
"Yep," he like, "Get out of here. I'll hold him off."
There you go.
Which, again, he started out as the rear guard, which is a very rear guard move to do, where it's just like, nope, sacrifice myself for everyone else. Don't give a shit.
And Guts the gentleman, fucking ladies
Yep.
first.
We're gonna, I'm gonna have a Sabaton song written about me.
Nice reference. So, uh,
And then,
between that battle and the tree, uh, the discussion, I suppose there's a little celebration in there. I don't have
Mhm.
much to say about it, but do you have anything you want to say about it, Kai?
Yeah, I love the fact that Guts cusses out the doctor.
That moment's good. That one was
Like,
really
and
amusing.
even them carrying him off on a stretcher, he's like, I can fucking walk, guys. It's fine. It's not that bad. And you're like, you are literally being held together by fucking sticks. No.
I wish
Like,
every
you
soccer
can
player was
die at
like
any
this.
moment. I know, right? Like, you're seconds away from dying, Guts. We need to stitch you back up. He's like, I'm fine.
That moment was really amusing. There's a little nice puck reference there too.
Yep, with the magic, the
Yeah,
fairy
little fairy
dust.
dust.
Mm.
But otherwise, do you have anything to say else about that celebration?
Uh, Not really, other than Judo revealed to both, or revealed to Costco that Griffith did actually seem to be concerned about her safety. Where he's just like, hey, Griffith
Yeah.
said that he wants to save both Guts and Costco. Which this does go back before they fell off the cliff. There is a moment with Griffith where he learns that those two are off the battlefield, and he's given the option to either send out a search party to go find them or use that search party on the battlefield and win the day.
Yep.
And instead, he sent people out to go find them.
Yeah.
So it does show that he does still have some level of humanity left. It's just he's still slowly peeling it off layer by layer. You're seeing him distant himself more and more.
That's fair. I would argue he still has a lot at this point.
At this point, he does. I would say he doesn't lose it until he starts doing more political stuff.
Yeah,
Which,
which
hey, maybe politics destroys your humanity.
I definitely want to get strongly into that real soon.
Mm.
But that's gonna be for later. Anything else you want to talk about the celebration scene?
No, that was pretty much it. Because now the
Okay.
scene with Guts and Casca under the tree, which is another fantastic scene where it's just them talk about dreams. And I love it because this is a moment where, to Casca, Guts has always been like the big dumb unga bunga strength guy. Goes in, brain turned off, just swing big sword, don't think about anything else. But now he's talking about his men. He's like, yeah, Gus Carl wants to open up a clothing store. This guy over here wants to be a baker. This guy over here wants to marry a woman. Like, he's going off all of his men's dreams. He's like, no, I know who my men are. Like,
I,
I listen to them. I hang out with them.
I saw that
And it's,
dialogue piece. I'm like, this is Kai bait. This is the
oh
shit
yeah,
he loves.
I fucking
Commanders that
love
love his
stuff like
men.
this. Commanders that legitimately care for their men. And
Uh,
the big one to me too on this is Guts seems kind of down about it though. A little uh envious because he's like, man, all these guys have dreams. All my men have dreams and ideas of what they want to do after war. And here I am just being a warrior. This is all I've ever been. It's all I'll ever know. I don't have any big dreams or aspirations like Griffith or uh, everyone else, Gaston
Mhm.
and all of them. It's like, I just want to be a swordsman.
You got a few hints of this back in volume 5, but you see this theme very heavily now, where Gus is kind of looking at the stars and thinking, "Who am I? Why am I here?
Exactly.
What am I doing?"
Which, remember what I said in the last episode? You always know it's happening because every time it's Guts staring up into this night sky, and that's when he starts thinking about things.
This is just the first time we, as listeners, are now visualizing it, or I
Yeah.
guess verbally hearing it, because Casca is here to drag that
Yep.
out of him.
This is the first time where he has someone there next to him to talk to about it.
Hmm. And it is pretty interesting because we talk about pretty frequently how much Griffith has been positively affected by Guts. How he
Mhm.
kind of feels like he's regained a little bit of himself, how he feels jolly. But this is the first time you see how much of a positive influence Griffith has been on Guts.
Mhm.
Where Guts
Or
before
no.
had, living day by day, didn't
Yeah,
really think
just
about it
survival
much.
mode.
Hmm. But seeing someone like Griffith who has such high ambitions, I think was the very first breaking point. And having that influence around you, I'm sure influenced the men around Guts, and which in turn also at least started to make him think, well, what am I living for? What is my ambition?
Exactly. Is making him want to think about life and what he wants to do.
And he constantly brings up this is not the first time he brings this up. All he knows is how to swing a sword. And that's what
Yep.
he's known since age 3.
Mhm.
But he is thinking, what does that actually mean?
Mhm.
And
He's
without
starting to think about that where he's like, me, like, am I just a big dumb soldier swinging a sword, or like, what is it about swinging a sword that I love so much?
mhm. And unfortunately, this is where the train of thoughts of his kind of stops because he's still trying to figure it out. You get to see it a little bit more later, but now the characterization of Guts, you can see that he is starting to think about it. And this
Mhm.
is, I feel, the biggest change you're going to see in Guts for probably a while. Quotation and
Probably,
asterisks.
yeah, because this I think is one of the most important changes for Guts because it's him becoming more introspective,
Hmm.
thinking about more of like what is it that he wants out of life? What is it that he's good at? All he knows is to swing his sword, but and in his eyes, like, yeah, it's kind of useless. It's not some big grand ambition thing that everyone else has. But at the same time, it is something that he himself enjoys doing. So is it really that bad? Is it really bad for him to want to be a soldier?
Yeah, it's something he has to contemplate from here on out.
Which at this point, he is kind of, I think, more so on the side of maybe I should try other things and not be a soldier and see if I like those too.
And he talks about
Like he's
how it's impossible to find that out under Griffith because his
Yeah,
his
he is.
dream is so big, he casts such a long shadow. He feels like he can't really command himself anymore.
Mm. And especially since in a literal sense, he's always going to be a soldier if he's stuck underneath Griffith.
Hmm.
Because no matter what, Griffith is always going to go to war. He's always going to have battles going on. He's always going to have Guts there leading fights. And Guts at this point is like, well, I kind of want to do other things. And if I'm always in the military, I'm always going to be fighting, and I kind of want to go off and do something else.
Hmm. So, like, for the lack of a better word, because I can't think of one right now, I think Guts is a little bit jealous of Griffith for how high he's put himself. Like, and it's not jealousy, but I can't think of the word
I
right
think
now.
envy.
Maybe envy.
I think Guts is, and it's not just Griffith, it's the other characters as well.
Hmm.
He seems to be very envious of them, where he's just like, huh, everyone has dreams and ambitions, and here I am just swinging my sword with no other thought.
Yeah. So in this case, Griffith, up until this chapter so far, has been a good influence on his own Band of the Hawk as well. Because I think it is good that you self reflect and you think about why are you here? What do you want to do
Hmm.
in life? And that's something that people like the people in the Band of the Hawk don't really they never had a good chance to think about that because they're strugglers themselves.
Yep. Especially Guts. I mean, it's
Guts
literally
is the
his
guy.
nickname. That's his title, the Struggler.
So yeah, I thought that scene was really cool. And of course now Guts now has a better understanding of why Casca is so infatuated with Griffith that I wrote my next note here. It's Guts the Black Wingman. And there's some
Yeah.
really amusing scenes where now you see not Griffith, Guts is trying to get Casca to push him more with push her more with Griffith, and it's
Yeah.
hilarious every time.
Because he's like, hey, I know he like or she likes him. Why don't you go be with him? Which also kind of shows like so this is where I think the benefit of Guts' mindset is because he is still kind of like a big dumb guy because the idea is like, oh, you know, Griffith wants to be king. The only way for him to be king is if he marries the princess. So technically, he's never going to be able to be with Casca. Well, Guts is on the side of to hell with that. Marry whoever you fall in love with. To hell with everyone else.
Yeah, he's just kind of like, well, give it a shot, see what
Yeah, just give
happens.
it a shot. See what happens. Griffith is going to be king no matter what. It doesn't like, yeah, the princess would be the surefire way, but there's other ways to be king if he falls in love with someone else.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, get you a night with Griffith.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
why not? See what happens. Which I do kind of respect Guts in that type of mindset where he's very much so like, if it's something you want, just do it. Just go after it. Don't sit
Hmm.
there and overthink it.
And ironically, though, I think there are hints of you see Guts. It grows more, but Guts is kind of starting to like Casca. But
Yeah.
his very first mindset is, well, she's stuck with Griffith, and I don't want to use it to this extreme degree, but Guts loves Casca so much that she's willing to let her go because he understands
That
what
makes
Casca
sense.
really wants.
Yeah. No, I can see that where he's like, he knows that Costco wants Griffith, so he's not going to get in the way of that.
Yeah, but it's not. He doesn't have like a burning love. It's more so of like,
I think it's
eh,
more like a childhood crush at this point where he's like, yeah, she's kind of cute, but, take it or leave it.
yeah. So, that's all I really want to say on the celebration night. The next scene is the war table scene. Do you have anything else to
Mhm.
say about the celebration before we move on?
Not really.
Okay. So, moving on to the war table scene. Um, it's a lot of kind of battle strategy talk, and you get to see how the whole kingdom collectively feels about Griffith.
Mhm. Where
And
it's like, oh, this dude's a cocky nobody. And again, this kind of like I alluded to it in the last episode as well, where there's that one panel where all of them are like, you say this could be done. This is nonsense. You can't do it. And Griffith is just sitting there like, what are you guys talking about? Like this super innocent look on his face. He's
it's
like,
really amusing. He has like a Gap
yeah,
Moe face, and everyone is like
exactly.
super realistic.
Everyone's super realistic. He's like, oh, they're like, yeah, of course we could do it. It's just a fight. Like we could win this.
Yeah, because he's Griffith also shows how politically intelligent he is because he says what he needs to, and every single word is has an influence on everyone. It gives
Mhm.
people a reason to talk, despite him only saying like 5 words.
Exactly. And it's essentially them talking about the rhinos. Just
Yeah,
like how do we take on the holy purple rhinos, the most powerful guys ever.
yeah, and there was everyone was against Griffith, but there is with this one cool knight called Sir Laban that stood up for him.
Yeah, the one night where he's like, that dude's pretty good. I actually think he is the future. I'm gonna rally behind him.
I gotta say, Kai, this
What
looks
are
like
the
a
other knights who are just like, he's a commoner, fuck him.
yeah. I gotta say though, Kai, Sir Laban looks like a guy you would create in Mountain Blade.
Yeah,
You specifically.
yeah. Same personality too, where it's just like, oh yeah, he's just a chill military leader.
Yeah.
He looks like your generic military leading guy. He's just like, yeah, he's he's just a captain or a commander, whatever, not necessarily a general, but he's just a high-ranking officer who's just like, yeah, I just lead men on battles, and I want to make sure I get as many men off the field as I can, but I also want to make sure I could get victories.
this is a little bit off topic, but there is a system in Mountain Blade where um some personalities are more like noble, others are more
Mhm,
neutral, others are more greedy, and some are randomized.
mhm.
He's like the one of the two ones that are always set to be noble.
Yeah,
And
where
you
he's
got
always gonna be a good guy regardless.
he feels like one of those guys. There's another guy that also stands up for Griffith that is the friend of Sir Laban. I forgot his name.
Yeah, the blonde dude. I
Yeah.
forgot his name as well.
But yeah, they seem pretty cool. And it's kind of weird that we don't get a lot of them, but you know, it's Griffith's story, so
Oh, yeah.
what
I'm
it
sure
is.
they'll show up again later.
Yeah. Besides that, I have a bulletin point here that is gonna cover a lot of ground. So this is where I'm gonna stop analyzing too much and just kind of say what I'm feeling. So Kai, you're gonna take it a lot after this bulletin point. So
Go
the
for it.
bulletin point that I have here is Battle of Doldry. It is all fan service. This could have easily been a chapter or a whole arc where they say they did the battle and it's done, because all that really matters in this battle is the result of it. However, despite it all, this is just a fun look at all these characters be characters.
Mhm.
Everyone
I would say
here
it's a
gets a
little
rival.
bit more important battle because there are moments in it where it's like, "Oh shit, Guts is gonna die."
Well,
Like, Guts is
that's nothing
now
new to
meeting
the
his match with the
series.
purple rhino leader. And then you also have, the, Duke or whatever the hell he was, from Griffith's backstory has now made an appearance. Is turns out he's the governor of the town they're assaulting,
Yeah,
which there's now emotional stakes on this for Griffith in the very least. And even Casca is like, shit, I hope he keeps his cool over this and doesn't do anything rash.
yeah, and really Griffith kept his cool the entire time,
Yeah.
entire time. So I say this is I say
Also,
because
I just want to point out, I find it really funny that dude's symbol is a fucking lobster.
is it? I
Did
didn't
you pick
notice
that
that.
up? Yeah, yeah. For whatever reason, it's a lobster, and then he has naked statues of men all over the place,
Huh, I wonder
or
what it's trying to
naked
say.
male statues. Yeah, he's a lobster and he likes men.
That's great. So, again, I mean, it's not something that really pushes characterization. I guess there is that moment with the governor. Although, what I do want to say is that this was just a really fun scenario for the characters because each one gets a rival. You get Griffith with the governor, Guts with the forgot his name,
Purple
General
Rhino's line
Bosgon or
leader.
something, and you get Costco with Adon, the
Yeah.
schmuck that didn't die for some reason.
Hmm.
And it's just you get to
I,
see all everyone's abilities also shine. Where Griffith gets to command a shit ton, Guts just gets to be a raw meathead, and Costco kind of gets her moments of what do you call it, like a squad leader.
yeah, as
She's
a leader, as well as her basically redeeming fight against him, where she's showing like, now she can still whoop his ass.
Yeah, she's not debuffed
Also, I love
anymore.
the fact that like he plays it off Adon as like, oh yeah, we saw through your tactics. We knew you come and assault, so that's why we're here. Meanwhile, his men are like, we're here because you got us stuck here, you dipshit. Because
Yeah,
you want to close your mouth. So the leader or so the general literally stuck us here because he didn't want to deal with you.
yeah, dude. Adon sucks so much on every side.
He does. Nobody fucking likes him.
And once again, I want to emphasize the point from earlier. I was so anxious flipping through each page. This was such a tense moment where even in the beginning of the chapter or the arc, like Guts was looking at the flag and being like, "Well, this is my last battle. We're gonna die here."
This is it. Do or die right here.
And yet it went. It still went perfectly, regardless.
And I
Um,
love that both him and the general are doing the same fucking tactics, if that makes sense. Where
yeah,
it is, it's not neither one of them is escaping this battle unscathed. He is taking chunks out of his armor. The general's taking chunks out of Guts's armor. They're both wailing on each other. And it's just like it's by the skin of their teeth that they're able to get away from each other's swings. But it's close to the point where even the other soldiers are like, holy shit, who's gonna win?
Yeah, I want to point out that General Bosgong, he's really kind of like he's really fucking cool as an enemy. And I'm
He
kind
is.
of bummed out that he unfortunately died a little too early. I think he could have had some really good banter with Guts, or
For
like
sure,
some really
because he
good
seems
moments.
like the type of guy where he he respects warriors and he respects good leadership.
Hmm.
It's just, you know, you're the enemy. You're on the other side of the battlefield. That's the only reason why I'm fighting you.
Yeah, and I wish there was a little bit more with him, but I'm fine with it with the way
Mhm.
it turned out. Um, so yeah, it's such an interesting reflection of him being kind of competent to it, and he's so competent that he's intimidating toward the main cast.
Mhm.
But the way they nerfed him was the governor was entirely goon brained and was just gonna be he completely kind of fell into Griffith's trap of
Yeah, where he's just
going
like,
to the
no,
center.
don't harm Griffith. When even the general mentions, if we could kill Griffith, we would have won this battle, and I wouldn't have lost nearly as many men as I have.
And the governor also just takes direct command and completely fucks up the entire army.
Hmm.
So that was kind of an amusing of like uh you weave what you sow moment.
Exactly. And then you also have the moment with what's his name in Casca, where now he's using tricks to beat her, where he's like fake surrendering, uses poison tipped crossbow to shoot her, and she's just like fucking all right, whatever, sleazy guy, but
Oh
by the skin
yeah.
of her teeth, she manages to take him out.
Even in the last moments, man, he's such a fucking scumbag.
Yep.
I found the scenes or the battle between Adon and Casca to be kind of goofy because like I feel like no one was taking him seriously.
No, nobody was taking him seriously. But
They,
yet he's a serious threat because he is a pretty decent fighter. It's just he's an idiot. And he
yeah,
yells his moves out before he's about to do them.
like there's a lot of weird like those scenes back in like the first volumes where Puck would do something funny and Guts would be the serious fight.
Yeah.
I felt this is the equivalent where like Guts is doing the serious fight and Casca is just the goofy fight. Where like, look at this fucking idiot.
Hmm.
So that was amusing. Uh,
Yeah, it is pretty funny or amusing with him at least. But Casca does manage to finish him off with a neat little like backflip over him and slice his throat.
yeah.
And it's
Although,
just if you watch the or look at the panel, you can tell like it's just the tip of her sword that hits him. So it's like
yeah.
barely hits his neck.
Once again, emphasizing the battle style of Casca.
Where she's all about precision rather than brute force.
I was about to say on the opposite end of that, you get, in my opinion, the sickest fucking kill assist ever. Holy fucking
Oh,
shit.
from Zod, right?
Like, Guts is down on the ground, no horse. He's about to get charged by the general.
His sword's broken. He's pulled his dagger. The general gets a badass fucking 2-page kill streak too, where it's just
Oh,
him
yeah. Starts ramming.
basically in a guts mode, just killing people.
And then a massive fucking bladed sword comes out of nowhere. Griffith yells to pick it the fuck up. And then the panel of him slicing to the general has such cool fucking impact. Holy shit.
And it's not just the general; he cuts through the horse's head off too. And it's just like the few steps walking to the bodies where you don't see the heads, and then they collapse, and you see like, oh shit, the heads are gone.
That panel went so fucking hard, dude.
Fuck yeah, dude, it's so cool. And I love how at that point, and then like they turn around and they see that the castle is now taken by Casca and her force, and the enemy force is like, "Fuck this, we're out," and they just leave.
Yeah. So after that scene, it's gonna be the last guy still the last rival, quote unquote, still alive. Oh yeah, here's
Mhm.
his name. I knew I wrote it down somewhere. Lord Ganon, the governor.
Known the
So
governor.
the note I have, the way I wrote down the note was, Lord Ganon died. Anyways, and that's basically how it went
Pretty much.
down. Where like Griffith, there was no dramatic like it's you. I can finally kill you. Lord Griffith, like Griffith didn't fucking give a
I
fuck.
actually think it is pretty dramatic because he is like all over Griffith. He's like, "Oh, Griffith, my love, you're finally back to me. Oh, we could be lovers again." And Griffith is just like, "You're just a one night stand. I don't actually like you."
You served your
And
purpose and you're gone. You know,
yeah,
that's kind of
you
it.
served your purpose. And it fucking ripped that dude's heart out of him. And then Griffith kills him. So it's
Yeah.
like emotional damage, then death.
It just looked like Griffith, he didn't reciprocate anything. He didn't really give a fuck.
No, he didn't. It was an instant means. He needed money for his army, and that's why he slept with the guy.
Yeah. Like the other two went out in a, I'd say in a more dramatic way, especially the general. But
Oh yeah,
Lord Ganon was just kind of like, boop, done. And it's really, really fitting in my eyes. I really like it.
it is. Whereas just to Griffith, he was nothing.
Yeah. So, as I've said, this arc was fucking awesome. I know I downplayed it a little bit in the beginning, saying nothing moves the story too much forward other than the results. But it was so fan servicey that I fucking loved it.
Hmm.
So yes. My next point is gonna be uh
Also, I love the aftermath where Casca's up on the wall and Guts comes walking up to her and they just have a little chat. And he picks her up and is like, "All right, well, let's go see your commander then." And just carries her off.
yeah. That was really cute.
It is.
And once again, wingmanning again, being like, oh, there's Griffith. Go get him,
Yeah,
Casca.
you go get him. Be with him. But then you get a nice little moment with Guts where he's just like, "That sword. I recognize that sword." And it's revealed that it was Zod that gave him that sword, that threw it.
Yeah, what a interesting twist.
I know. So
Don't know what his deal
you'll
was
come
yet
to
though.
find out that Zod, despite being an apostle, is not a very bad apostle. Like he's not really a bad man.
I don't know what an apostle really means yet, but I'll take your word on it.
Well, we've seen what, three of them so far now? Because it's
Not
Zod, the
yet.
slug guy, and then the snake dude
Uh,
from like Black Sportsman arc.
okay. I guess
So like
I guess they haven't come enough into the story where I can really comment on them too much.
so, which for sure they haven't. But the general gist is that most apostles are kind of like the slug count and the snake guy, the snake count, whatever the fuck he was. Well, they're just kind of assholes. They're power hungry assholes that just like torturing and maiming people. Well, Zod is the one odd one out where he's just like, I just like fighting. He's like, I'm not gonna kill people or I'm not gonna kill civilians. I'm not gonna like
I get it.
go around burning things and being a cannibal. Is like I just want a good swords fight. I just want to fight.
Yeah.
And so to him, when he sees Guts, again, it reminds me of like Father Anderson and Alucard's relationship from Hellsing Ultimate, where it's just like a human and this immortal creature just being like, "Yo, we can fight each other. This is gonna be dope."
He's
You know,
Zod,
just to
Zod is
see what
saving Guts
happens.
for later. He wants to
Yeah,
see
he's
him
like,
at his full potential.
I exactly. He's like, I want to see Guts at his strongest. I want to face him down. I want him to be the one to kill me.
Yeah. But yeah, besides that little cameo from Zod, do you have anything else to say before I get into the next arc?
Not really. That's pretty much it.
Okay. So the next arc opens up with the royalty getting together and saying this Griffith guy is a instability in our kingdom, starting
Mhm.
from the minister, a couple royals, and the queen herself.
Yep, the queen herself.
Eh,
Which it's then revealed that she's been cheating on her husband with his brother.
yeah. So I wrote down here in my notes. Wow, all the royalty really suck. At least the king is cool. Ha 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 ha. Save that one. Put a pin on that one later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait till you
Put a
see
put a
later.
let's put a pin on that one later. So as you said, cheating has been going on in the background with the queen anyways, and the other royals don't, like, I don't know, they got
They
that
don't
scumminess of
like
like, bro,
Griffith.
that Griffith helped you out and now you want to stab him in the back, really?
Yes, because they are very much so like royalty is for the royalty. Commoners are beneath us. They should never aspire to be like us. What is this commoner doing, thinking he could be like a royalty? This is, you know, this is atrocious. This should never happen. They're pompous assholes.
Yeah, they're fucking
Which
terrible.
historically that did happen from time to time. It happened a lot. There's a lot
Yeah.
of like noblemen who are just like, nah, fuck the peasant class. Who cares?
Hmm. So I don't know, kind of on brand, I guess.
Hmm.
Beyond that, um, my next point, you can feel free to jump whenever you want because this little section is pretty. It doesn't need to be too linear, but man, this
I do
arc.
like the parade when they come back.
Yes, it was really nice
That
seeing how
that to me was pretty fun, and all the characters and their reactions to the parade.
like wow,
Yeah,
this is new.
where yeah, like Pippin has all the like kids being like, "Yo, you're so big and strong," and then like Casca has her own little fan group of girls that are all screaming at her.
There's a lack of
And
men
then
in
there's
there.
also like Corcus doing like wrestling moves, like Hulk Hogan, just poses.
Oh yeah, he's the most into it out of all of them.
Oh yeah, he's fucking loving it. And I don't have you ever seen the movie A Knight's Tale?
Nope.
No, okay. So this entire time I'm watching this or I'm reading this scene, there's a scene in that movie that kept popping into my head where all the knights are back in town and because they're getting ready to show a tournament and the knights are parading down the streets and it's like this scene here where it's this huge celebration, flowers are being thrown, everyone's screaming and yelling. But in the movie, they have the song The Boys Are Back in Town playing in the background while they're doing this. And the entire time I'm reading this, that song's playing in the back of my head.
That's great. But yeah, from that celebration scene, and especially in the ballroom, I gotta glaze him again. Mura, holy crap! How do you draw all of this? Because now it's no longer knights on a battlefield. It's the royal room and all the fabric is so perfectly drawn,
Mhm. All
and
the intricate little details and whatnot.
it's like, man, Mura is a master of everything at this point.
Oh, for sure.
Like I'm looking at the queen's outfit and I'm like, Mira, how are you drawing this and getting Berserk out on time?
Hmm. Makes you realize why for a while there he's only doing like one chapter every like 6 months.
Yes, but despite me being so drawn to the beauty of the ball scene, I was also drawn by how tense it was because from the beginning of this arc, you were told that they're gonna try to assassinate Griffith, and that is
Mhm.
all I could think about in this entire arc. When
That
is it gonna happen?
there was going to be a point. I also like to point out that it's also hinted that Guts might be leaving. And so you're waiting for
Yeah.
the moment like when is he going to break the news to the rest of the band? Is it going to be tonight?
Yeah,
And
they were.
also, this is the first time Guts has ever actually went to a ball. Because remember, he used to skip out on all of this shit.
Yeah,
He's like, anytime it was a ball or celebration or knighting, he's just like, fuck it. And he goes and trains instead. This is the first time where you actually see him all dressed up there. And in true Guts fashion, he's like, it ain't for me. I'm going outside.
yeah. Because there was a purpose though to all of that. Even him going outside.
Hmm.
It's so he can kind of scope out the situation, which we'll see later. Um. So
I also love all the attention the guys are getting.
yeah, it's really
From
amusing.
all the girls are like, oh my God, Carcass, you're so cute. Pippin, you're so strong. Oh, Rickett, you're adorable. And they're like playing with him.
Yeah,
And then Guts is just like, yeah, I don't want this.
yeah. Immediately
I'm good.
leaves.
Hmm.
Yeah, every single member of the Band of the Hawk is getting glazed. Uh, but do you have anything else to say about the ball scene before the assassination?
Casca. Because now you see Casca in a dress, which is quite nice.
Very fan
And
servicey.
very well, it's not that fan servicey.
Well, not like
Not in
lewd,
like a
but
sexy sense, but in a
yeah,
like, oh, she's all girly and pretty looking.
yeah, yeah,
To the point where even Guts you see on his face where he's like, oh damn, she looks good.
exactly.
And even she's not into it either, where she's like, Guts, pretend you're talking to me. Come on, let's go outside.
That was a
And
cute
then you
scene.
Mhm. And this is one thing that the anime uh, does have an extra scene here where Casca and Guts have a little dance.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I don't know how
And
much
it's
that
not in the
suits Gus's
manga, but it is
character.
a neat little moment that I like, where it's just those two kind of slowly relaxing with one another.
Okay, I don't know how much that suits Gus's character, but I'll cast judgment that I'm sure it was done well.
Oh, it was more of the dance was more so Casca being like, "You're coming with me, whether you like it or not," and Guts like,
Gotcha.
"All right,"
Yeah,
but then
that's all you
he's
need to do.
yeah, and then through it, he's like, "Okay," he's starting to relax a little bit more.
Okay, fair enough.
But you do get like a nice little moment with those two on the balcony just talking.
Okay, yeah, it was a pretty nice break from all the stuff that was going inside the ballroom.
Hmm.
All right, anything
But then
pre-assassination
you
you have to
do.
say?
I was just gonna say, like, you do have a little bit more of a conversation between those two. Of again, Guts kind of reiterating before, where he's just like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about doing my own thing."
Yeah,
But he's like, "These past 3 years have been like the best of my life, and it's been fun."
he did mention before that at the end of the campaign he's probably gonna go.
Yeah, and Casca is just like, "Are you serious? Like, really now?"
Yeah, they thought they were. I guess they assumed he was joking or wasn't
Hmm.
serious. But I
Yeah,
guess now
or
that it's
it's
coming
like,
closer,
maybe he's just kicking around the idea. Maybe he'll this after this battle, we'll convince him to stay. But no, he's more and more. He's like, "Nah, I want to do my own thing."
yeah, he's becoming more dead set on that idea.
So, and you do see a little bit of Guts's mentality directed towards Griffith as well, where he's like, "Man, Casca should leave too, but Griffith just keeps pulling her along because he needs her, and that's kind of more cruel." Which is funny coming from Guts, where he's like, "It's kind of cruel for you to lead this girl on, Griffith."
In some way, it is kind of true.
It's just emotional manipulation,
I have more thoughts about Griffith that will actually line up with what you're talking about, but I kind of want to save them for a very specific scene. Do
Mhm.
you want to move on to the assassination part?
Sure.
So the way I wrote down the note here is all part of Griffith's Keikaku. Man, it's such. How did Griffith counterplay so hard? Because he knew exactly how it was gonna go down and how to counterplay the nobles exactly the way he wanted.
Because he was in on his own assassination.
Man,
Because before they leave, right? The assassination's been being planned for a long time, but remember, before they leave, he stares down the fucking what's his name? The little guy.
I wrote down his name here. The minister.
Yeah, the minister. He stares the minister down. So it's the idea of, I know you're planning something, and I'm gonna have my eyes watching you. And so when the minister's doing the whole like, oh, we're gonna plan this assassination, Griffith knows. He's got eyes on him already. He's already watching and listening.
Yeah. So I guess
The
he's kind of already
shit part
expecting
is that
assassination
he
to
just
begin with.
yeah. The shit part is he just didn't tell any other band of the Hawk members. So everyone's like, oh shit, Griffith is dead.
Yeah, everyone was out of the loop.
Yeah,
But in a way, I think Griffith just want to keeps it a little bit tight knit.
exactly.
So the queen plus a couple other nobles die, and all he had to do was just keep the minister's daughter hostage.
Hmm. And that's when it's revealed, like, oh, that letter that the minister got was Griffith knew where his daughter was and is now going to hold his daughter hostage. But before that, I do want to say Guts looks fucking good in a hat and his cloak with a fancy sword.
He looks like a Helsing character.
He does. He looks so fucking cool. Or like a Bloodborne character, where you're just
Yeah,
like, damn. Or better, I know you haven't played Dark Souls 2. Look up an image of Lucatiel. It looks like that.
I don't
Like,
know how to spell that.
I don't worry, I'll send you a photo later.
Okay,
But it looks her outfit looks identical to what Guts is wearing here.
good, fantastic. So I wrote down a little bulletin point here, and you don't have to tell me, you don't have to confirm anything, but I started looking at the minister when he was hugging his daughter, and I'm like, wait a minute, round head, big lips, kind of tiny, really hates Griffith, a little bit old. Where have I seen this design before? Seems familiar.
Yeah. Like Vargas or whatever his name was.
Yeah. I'm like, I guess being a little more blunt here, he looks like the guy all the way back in volume 2.
Yeah, the Black Swordsman arc.
Yeah, that was in hiding.
Mhm. He does, but they are not the same character. They just look a lot alike.
Okay. Damn, that's a bummer. That would have been a nice little nod, but whatever.
It would have been. But as far as I remember, they're not the same character.
Okay. Fair enough.
But you do get a cool assassination scene with Griffith where he lights the building on fire and literally lights everyone on fire. And then
Well
he just
deserved.
stands there, does his villain monologue, and then walks away.
I want to add, by the way, up until this point, I don't believe that Griffith has done anything that's evil yet. Morally gray, you could, yeah, okay, there's argument, but I'd say at this point he's gray with the shade of blue, because everything I
Ooh.
feel has been like revenge, or it's been like taste back at their own medicine. And even the
Mhm.
worst thing he was guilty of, or he's been an accomplice of, is the death of Julius' son. But I would pin that more on the sloppiness of Gus's assassination, because at the end of the day, Griffith didn't really care about killing the son.
Mhm.
That was just kind of Guts being a little sloppy.
Although I think Griffith liked that the son was killed. Because like,
Yeah,
oh cool, now I don't have to deal with him later on.
yeah, possibly. You can definitely interpret it that way. Yeah, so
But you
far, like,
do get
I don't
a
know.
really like I think this is one of the last moments that you see of Griffith being a human, if that makes sense,
Hmm.
where he turns the guts as, "Do you think I'm cruel? He's
Yeah,
like,
and it's kind
do
of
you think
crazy
I'm being a
because
bad guy for this?"
even Guts starts mentioning, well, it's part of your dream, right? You have to sacrifice anything in order to achieve your dreams.
Yeah. Well,
And
he's
and
like, "Well, it's your dream, or I'm just along with the ride."
and I'm sure Guts won't regret saying that later.
Oh no.
No, no. But yeah, that was a really nice moment. There was also a nice moment where they exchanged smiles before Griffith drank the poison that he set up.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of
because they
humanizing
know that
moments.
what's gonna happen.
Hmm.
And then they come back, and the rest of the band of the Hawk is like, "Holy shit, Griffith, you're alive!"
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like Griffith is having his own development slowly. He is,
Mhm.
sure, he's becoming more distant, but I think he is trying to also learn how to be more human.
Which, if you notice, it's only moments when he's with Guts does he really do that, or when he learns how to do that.
Hmm.
He doesn't usually let his guard down around the other members. And this is a moment where, when he's comforting Kafka, do you really kind of see him finally let that guard down a little bit,
Yeah,
where he's just like, "Hey, you look good in a dress."
yeah. So I think Guts is being like a good bridge for Griffith finally slowly starting to open up. I mean,
Mhm.
he's a long term case because I'm sure he has his own trauma to deal with, but he's, you could have fixed him. Just saying.
Yeah, could have. If he wanted to stick around for a little longer, he could have.
Yeah. So let's see here.
Next is one of the most pivotal points in the entire series.
So you're about to get there, but I do want to cover the lead up, which is the last drink with the Hawks.
I count this as part of that point, or it's Guts leaving is
Yeah.
what I meant overall. It's Guts has finally made a decision, like, yes, I'm going to leave.
Okay.
And he gets up late and he's packs his stuff and he leaves. And then you have uh uh Judo and Corcus being like, hey man, let's have a one last drink and try and convince you.
Man,
And even Costa
Judas
is
is so
like,
fucking
hey,
cool. Can I just say that for a moment?
oh yeah, I fucking love Judas.
God
Judas is
damn.
cool.
He
Or
is he
Judo.
is the black horse of keeping the band of the Hawk together.
Yeah, he is the glue that holds everything together.
But yeah, go on.
Um, but no, like pretty much they go to the tavern and Casca's kind of freaking out where she's like, shit, Guts actually is leaving. I need to stop Guts from leaving, which is interesting because again, it went from her being kind of indifferent to him and not really liking him to now actually caring for Guts and not wanting him to leave.
Hmm.
And so, anyway, the three go off to the bar and they're all talking about dreams and stuff like that. And yeah, pretty much Guts just talks about his or the same thing with them that he did with Costco, where he's like, all I've ever done was swing my sword. I want to go off and experience other things. I want to do cooler things and learn how to be a great warrior, be on the same level as Griffith, as the night where Griffith was talking to the princess about dreams and how he could only see someone who is as equally ambitious as him as a friend. Pretty
Yeah.
much Guts wants to do that. He was like, yeah, I want to be ambitious.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because like Guts is I guess to him it isn't forever. It isn't goodbye forever. It's I need to go back and see what I can do, and then when I feel ready, maybe come back and see everyone.
Yeah. Which is funny because everyone else pretty much took it as, oh, he's leaving forever. When he's more of like, I'll come back. Like, it's not a big deal.
I just don't think Guts conveyed that very well because let's be real, Guts isn't really the charismatic type.
No, he's not very good at explaining shit.
Yeah, he's not he doesn't know how to explain his emotions well. He's just kind of like this is the thing I'm doing, whatever.
Hmm.
So it's not bad writing. I definitely don't want to paint it that way. I think this is Miura doing an excellent job at portraying Gus's flaws.
Hmm. But he also is a good idea or good showcase of Guts himself at this point as just development because now he's like, I want to achieve something for myself for once rather than for somebody else or chasing someone else's dream. I want to do my own thing. I want to chase after what I want and
Yeah,
pursue the things that I want to be good at.
I
Which
mean,
is funny because then Corcus is just like, you're just being a snot nosed little brat. Knock it off. But
Corcus,
Judo,
he's such a contrarian man.
he is. He says one thing, but does the other. Like Corcus is fun. Corcus is like, yeah, you're being a brat, whatever, fuck you. But I'm still gonna support your decision regardless.
He's just trying to get under Gus's skin.
Yeah, he's just like fucking whatever, fine.
And I think this is the panel where they point out. I don't remember if it was this or the another part where it's like, well, hey, you're clearly talking and still here, so you have to care somewhat, huh?
Yeah, he's like, you're still talking to us.
And he's like, no,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. And then he like buzzes off or something.
Yeah, then he runs off.
What a fucking tsundere.
Yep. And then that's when Judo mentions, like, yeah, he was the leader of a band of thieves when we picked him up. So that's why he's kind of a dick.
Yeah. But at this point, I've kind of warmed up to Corcus a little bit more.
I have to. I like Corcus. Corcus is a fun dude.
Yeah. So it's a really nice scene of seeing like Jado bring Guts and being like, here's one more time with the gang before we
Mhm.
all go. And is there
Exactly.
anything you want to talk to before the lead up at the top of the hill?
Yeah. Judo is like, hey, why don't you shoot your shot with Casca?
That's right, he did say that. And once
Yeah. And then
again, Guts kind of reiterated what we were all suspecting.
yep. Which Judo's really interesting character because in a sense he's like an audience surrogate because
A
he's a
little bit.
character that's really, really good at picking up on what other characters are talking about or what other characters are thinking. Like he's fantastic at reading people.
Yeah, that's true.
Even like Griffith to an extent, which he does mention, like Griffith's is a little pretty hard to read, but he's probably the best person to who can do it from a distance.
Hmm.
But he's picking up like, hey, Guts, I noticed the way you look at Casca, and Casca, I noticed the way you look at Guts. Why don't you guys, try something? Why don't you guys give it a chance?
But they both know what's going on. Unfortunately, they know the reality of it.
Yeah, they know what's going on, but it's just fun that Judo is like, hey, why not? Griffith is going to go with the princess anyway.
Yeah,
Do you really want Casca to be left by herself, just forever doomed to be a side character? He's like, just go be with her. You guys can go run off, have your own little happy family.
and Guts mentions that Casca's eyes are on Griffith. There's no way I could, so
Yeah,
it doesn't
there's
really
no way I
matter.
could.
But yeah, that's I,
But Judo does mention like, hey, Casca talks about you, so I don't know, just food for thought,
planting that
which is
seed,
quite literally how he is.
planting that seed.
Yep, planting seeds.
But yeah, the can we get into the hill part?
Well,
Because I really
there
want
is
to
an
talk about that.
important part
Okay.
where Guts in this scene does mention that the eyes that she has for Griffith, he wants. He wants her to look at him with the level of admiration she has for Griffith, which is part of the reason why he's going on this journey.
Hmm.
And you see Judo's face just being like, ah, gotcha. I understand.
Yeah, I mean, Guts has
That's
multiple
why you're
reasons at
doing
this
this.
point.
Oh, yeah, multiple. But the big one is definitely like he wants to be seen as as good of a leader as, not necessarily a leader, but as inspiring as Griffith. He wants to be an inspiration for others.
He needs to take those steps, and the very first step is knowing what he wants,
Yep.
as we mentioned before.
Which unfortunately it means stepping away from the rest of the band of the Hawk, which he is. But
And
that's his way
referencing
of
how
like,
he's
hey,
under the shade of Griffith.
and he wants to be his own tree for once. He wants to stand on his own.
Okay. So yeah, outside of retreading that ground again, I just want to talk about Griffith right now, man, because that scene I think is so vital to what
Oh,
happened before and what's gonna happen after. And even the
it
during of
is
it is so
so
intense.
important. It is so incredibly important. And you see, like, even the other members don't want him to leave. Like, Ricketts kind of losing his shit. Corcus is losing his shit. Like, so far, the only person that's actually behind him leaving is Judo. Where Judo's like, hey, I get it.
Yeah.
And now Griffith literally does not say anything other than, like, you belong to me. And then they duel
He
and
has that
fight it
locked
out
in stare immediately.
immediately. Yep.
Like
Which,
it's the same look that he's given of Guts and Casca almost dying.
yeah, it's that same, like, I need, or really anytime he locks in, he's just like, nope, we need to get shit done.
Yeah.
I need to stop this. And I know you mentioned tension earlier and how good Mira is. Holy shit, the tension here.
This was a very high tense scene.
You feel like time stopping literally as those two just stand there, stare each other down.
And one of the greatest moments, I think you can also look back on this is a moment of looking behind you. And you see how far Guts has come even before the battle starts. Because
Hmm.
oh, excuse me. Because even before, Guts has always been reckless. He's always been a meathead, and he's always shown his anger within the sword. Maybe he doesn't show
Hmm.
it outwardly, but you can see his anger being a part of his
Like,
battle style.
his sword is his emotion. Like, when he's on the
Exactly.
battlefield, that is how he describe, or that's how he expresses himself, is through his sword.
This
He's
is
not good at it with words, but he's fucking good at it with actions.
exactly. However, this is the very first time I've ever seen so far in the entire manga where Guts doesn't fight with anger, he fights with determinism.
Yeah. Where it's a silent, like, like you said, it's not anger, it's not rage, it's like this silent, like,
It's stoicism.
stoicism. Yes, exactly. Or it's just like, oh, he's focused.
Mm-hmm.
Then you do get a moment too with Judo and Costco, where Judo is now kind of, again, like I said, he's really good at reading people. He's like, Costco used to not be this upset with Guts. She
Yeah.
never used to care for him. Now she does. There's obviously something there for her.
Yep. And now moving on to what's going on in Griffith's head, where you see that there's turmoil in his scene. He's coming up with all these scenarios, and you even get to a point where he's thinking of a scenario where he could just kill Guts, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What am I thinking? But if I can't have him," and then
If I can't have him, no one can. So he's fully willing to kill Guts right here, right now.
and in my eyes, this is why I brought this up earlier. I don't think Griffith did anything evil up until this point. I believe in my eyes, this is the very first purely evil thing that Griffith could have done.
Mm-hmm. Where his obsession with owning Guts is really what's driving him over the edge.
And his combined obsession of having control, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what I mentioned earlier, whereas I don't think it's necessarily that Griffith loves Guts so much so as he loves the control he has over Guts.
Mm-hmm.
And
Even though I
for
feel it's
the
grayed
first
out
time,
more, it's gone a little more blurry as the series has gone on.
yeah, a little bit. But Griffith is very much like he loves control, and this is the first time in however long where someone within the band of the Hawk is, no, I'm not listening to you. And
Yeah.
he's like, what?
And it's Guts of all people.
Yeah, it is Guts, the person that he considered a close friend of all people. Or a friend, I should say. If we were to take his speech with the princess, literally, no one's really a close friend to him.
Yeah. So
and it's just so funny yet poetic that the person that pushed Guts into this situation was Griffith, and Griffith doesn't even realize that.
yeah, there's
And
a
this is
huge
where,
tug back and forth with how they both affected each other, and even Casca within that trio as well.
oh yeah, for sure. And this is also where like this is why I think like Griffith doesn't care about Guts as like a human. Again, it's more so like he likes the control. Is if Guts was his legitimate friend and he legitimately loved and cared for Guts, he would have been behind his decision. He would have been like, "Oh, you're leaving, huh? All right, well, good luck on your journey and know that you always have a home back here at the Hawks."
Yeah.
But no, instead he is, "If you leave, I'll kill you."
Yep. And I want to talk a little bit more about that, about Guts' kind of fault, but let's go over that big hill in this chapter
Oh,
where
we-
everything is
where
coming
the
together.
snow falls.
Everything is coming
And
together. The battle is getting more tense. They're about to clash. And as Griffith finally sees the the perfect plan in his head to kill Guts here and now, Guts with great speed puts his sword right in front of Griffith's face before Griffith can even react, and the whole scene stops.
and not only that, he cuts Griffith's sword in half.
Yes.
Griffith's usual parry technique doesn't work. And just the whole lead up to that again, like when the snow falls, that even though it's only 2 panels of snow falling from a tree branch, it feels like that panel is like 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then the action in the next 2 pages is just so lightning fast. And then it stops, and that's it.
I was staring at that gust panel for a bit. Holy shit, dude.
Oh, it's so cool. Where it's that subtle pause. Because not only does it show that Guts is now stronger than Griffith, Guts also has control, unlike Griffith.
Yeah.
Because Griffith is going into this fight fully ready to kill Guts. And Guts is like, nah, I'm not going to kill you. He stops the sword before he harms him.
Which is ironic because it's the complete reverse of what happened when Griffith recruited Guts.
Yep. Complete opposite.
So that's a crazy turnaround. And what's kind of weird is really looking back at it, after this, there's not that many panels left. Little is exchanged, and all you really see are the fragments of emotions and gestures that it's left behind. Yet it's those small gestures that
tells the
are
story.
Yeah, that says so much about the characters in that moment.
Mm-hmm. This is why I'm on the side of like comic books as being one of the greatest forms of storytelling ever is because you could tell an entire story without dialogue. And
Mhm.
mirrors this scene here is a perfect example of that. Of just the look on everyone's face. Casca looking up at Guts, looking down, looking back, and Guts' silhouette slowly getting smaller and smaller as he walks away.
Yep.
And it's just like, oh, it's so heart wrenching. It's just, and then Griffith's just sitting there on the ground, just bewilderment on his eyes, just not knowing like what the fuck happened. This is never like this is the first time he's ever lost.
The only time he's had that face beforehand was in the lake when he was scratching or he was clawing at his shoulders.
Yeah, when he's cutting himself.
And I think this is his face of I've lost control.
Yeah, like what the fuck happened? I don't like this.
Yeah. So I want to add a little bit of side commentary now where I don't I think I don't want to say what Guts did was wrong, but I think he was a bad friend for not telling Griffith exactly how he felt. And once again, I want to say this was good writing on Mira's part to show off Gus's flaws.
Yeah,
Where
where
Guts could have
Guts isn't
easily
very
told
good
Griffith,
at
and even
expressing stuff.
yeah, maybe Griffith would have been a little more pissed off, but I think he would have accepted it a little bit more. He'd be
Hmm.
like, "Well, he's gonna come back eventually."
Yeah, if all Guts had to do was just re like uh just say the same speech Griffith literally gave,
Mm-hmm.
and then Griffith, I guarantee you, like, ah, that's why you're doing this. I still think they would have fought over it because I
Yeah.
think that whole speech that Griffith gave to the princess was just blowing smoke up her ass. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
he actually meant it,
Even
but
if Guts is something tapped Griffith on the shoulder, being like, I'll see you later,
hey, yeah, I was like, I want to be a great swordsman. I'm going off on my own.
and I'll be worthy to stand by you one day.
Yeah, it's like I want to be a worthy swordsman for you. If he worded it like that, I guarantee you, Griffith is like, oh, okay.
He would have handled it way better. I'm sure he still would have been kind of sad and bummed out, but man, not even not even close to the same degree he is now.
Yeah,
Completely just torn apart.
where his soul is torn out of his body. And this is the moment where I really think that Griffith has lost his humanity. Where this is now he's like, all right, fuck it, full robot mode.
This is the turning point of his character,
Mhm.
and really everyone's character.
Yeah.
Because even as we mentioned before, this is his own turnaround because he finally realized he is doing something for himself that isn't part of the
Mhm.
sword. This is
Exactly. He's
Gus's
going
own
off
arc.
doing his own dream.
Mm-hmm. And for Casca, even for her, it's do I is the whole world Griffith?
Exactly, because I don't know if you picked up on it. She wasn't really sad about Griffith. She was more sad about Guts. She
Mm,
ran past Griffith, which I'm sure in Griffith's eyes that's even worse. Be like, wait a minute, now there's another member of my band that doesn't see me as God anymore. What the fuck?
yep. Just
She's
more
chasing
loose
after
loss of
someone
control.
else. It's more and more loss of control, and he doesn't like it. But you do see a little bit of like self-reflection from Guts in the next chapter where he's like camping by himself. He's like, fuck, did I make the right decision? Did I just throw away my friendship for nothing?
Yeah, it's crazy because
Hmm.
well, I'm sure even Guts is reflecting more like, well, I went this far already. I can't go back. I don't think he had a. He's like, well, consequences of my actions.
Yeah,
Let's see how it goes.
see what happens. But then
But
you are introduced to a really cool character right after.
dude, like, I guess we can get into it because I've already mentioned how amazing that previous scene is in the hill. So I guess we can move on a little bit. And it's gonna come back up. Don't worry.
No,
So,
no worries. That scene on the hill is so incredibly important. It is like a pivotal point of the entire series.
yeah. So, I wrote down the note of a cryptic skeleton knight. This guy feels like, bro. This guy
he feels like a really important character from volume like 20 plopped into here. I'm like, bro, what are you doing here? You're
You're not wrong. He is a very important character. He's just basically showing up, being like, "Hey, Guts, be careful," and then just leaves.
it's just like, all right, thanks, dude. I'll see you in 30 volumes. Bye.
Yeah, he's like, "Okay, bye." He shows up a little bit more often later, not necessarily in 30 volumes, but in like 5, he'll show up again. But it is one of those things where it's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
It
But
was
he
so random.
does, yeah. But he does give him a warning of like, "Hey, you leaving has just set off the chain of events that's going to change everything. Be fucking careful with what you do."
Super cryptic. And
Yep.
Gus is like, okay, okay, sure.
It's like, what the fuck do you mean? What are you talking about? And I also like how he puts Skull Knight on the same level as Zod already, where he's like, shit, this dude is not human. What is this thing?
I mean, you can see it in his face. He's definitely isn't.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not a human being. He's an supernatural horseman, king, knight,
Yeah,
guy, whatever.
beyond human, essentially.
Yeah, he's
But
Skull Knight. That's the easiest way to describe him.
he's
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 Skull Knight.
he's
He's
a
his
knight
own
and he's a
thing.
skull. What else do you need?
Yep.
But so my next note here is now going into the more impactful scenes that happen within this volume, which is the note I wrote down here is Griffith needed control and it needed to advance.
I
This was
well,
his motivation for immediately heading towards Charlotte.
yes, because he knew he can control her, and
And
he
I
went
think
to her for comfort.
and I think in addition, what would the part of control is true, but I think there's even more now layered on it where Griffith realizes he can't do much without Guts anymore because I'm sure Griffith realized it, but he was really starting to rely on Guts more and more and more. To the
Mhm.
point now where he realizes, like, shit, I don't really have Guts anymore. I have to advance. I have to make moves now before they slip out of my hands.
Mhm.
And in this case, it was seducing Charlotte.
I don't think him seducing Charlotte was him thinking that though. I think at this point, Griffith was moving in completely on his own emotions of I need to feel better about myself. Who can I manipulate and control? Charlotte. Charlotte I can manipulate and control. I'm gonna go to her.
Yeah, I think that layer is still there for sure.
And you do see it with, I mean, like, of course, there's the whole sex scene between the two. But to me, the more important part of that sex scene is the ending of it, where Griffith isn't laying there comfortable or anything. He's like cuddling himself. He's hugging himself. He's freaking out. He's like, what the fuck?
He
You know?
almost looks like he's
He's
the one that
crying.
got assaulted.
Yeah, he looks like he's the one who's just like, fuck, I lost everything. What the fuck happened?
Yeah, that was pretty unexpected. And this is kind of what I mean, where there, this is not showing off that it's showing off that maybe Griffith beforehand had more humanity than we thought.
Yeah, more than he let on. But now he's basically letting that humanity go.
I think it's slipping from him. He hasn't quite let
Mhm.
it go, but this is definitely the point of it
It,
slipping. And I was
you
gonna
do
add,
see it come slipping out of him fucking fast. You
mm-hmm.
do see it slipping out of his hands real fast right now.
And I would say this is the second evil scene with Griffith that happened for him to kind of like luck out and not really come off as evil because Charlotte kind of sort of consented to it.
Oh yeah, she did. She wanted it.
But to
Yeah.
Griffith, that wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah, probably. I think Griffith would have taken it regardless. It's just she was already in love with Griffith, so whatever.
Mm-hmm. So this was a scene where like this could have you got lucky, Griffith, because this could have easily been your second evil scene.
Mhm. I view it more so like it's an evil scene because it's him using her to make himself feel good. It's him
Yeah.
using her for his own emotional needs that he himself cannot handle.
Yeah,
It's
that's how it all works underneath. That's correct.
exactly. It's essentially this is a fucking Tinder date.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
this is you just got out of you just had your heart broken from a long relationship with someone that you thought you were going to marry. You want to rebound, so you go on Tinder and you hook up with the first person you meet.
damn.
This is exactly what Griffith is doing.
But again, I think he's also trying to advance the plan where like I need to also get control by being a king. He wants
I
to kind of
don't,
speed run
because if
being in
he
it.
was thinking along that line, he wouldn't have gone to Charlotte.
Maybe
Because
I think
like
you're right.
if he was able to think without his emotions for a moment, he would know if I sleep with the princess now, it's gonna piss off the king and everyone in the court, and I'm gonna get kicked out. I'm not gonna do this.
That's fair. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. So my next note that I've have here is Griffith, hero to prisoner.
Real quick, I do want to point out one page in this chapter that I think is really interesting.
Yeah,
Is that while all this is going down, you get a moment with Casca going to Guts' room and picking up his sword.
you do. She cares.
Yep. She cares and she hugs it. It's like, shit, Guts meant far more to her than she realized.
Yeah. We're gonna see more of that later because
Oh yeah.
we still got quite a bit to cover.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, oh man, how do I start here? It's
So,
crazy how quickly this went to shit.
oh yeah, this went down horribly. All because the one handmaiden saw the two going at it.
Yep.
And she's like, oh fuck, gotta tell the king.
And yeah, now you're seeing Griffith on the chains and being like, "Oh man, this is a little bit uncomfortable where this is going."
Yep. And
Yep.
he calls the king out on his bullshit where he's like, hey, I figured it was weird you haven't married your daughter off. It's because you lust after your own daughter, don't you? And the king is like, fuck you, and just starts beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, and as a reader, you can interpret being like, "That's a pretty shitty thing to suggest, Griffith."
But then it
Um,
turns out that Griffith was right.
remember when
The
I
king does lust after his own daughter.
so audience, remember when I put a pin on saying, "Wow, the king seems like one of the cool royals that actually stands up for Griffith." And you know what? Even the king says during while whipping Griffith, being like, "Hey man, I support merit, but you gone too far."
Yeah.
But there's also another layer of the king of like Griffith was right. He
Griffith had a point.
he lust after his daughter. So man, that scene was uncomfortable to look at.
Yep, that's a little weird. Griffith called him out on his bullshit.
Right afterwards too.
Yep.
I don't think I need to give details. Audience, you guys can look at those panels yourself. That it was
Yep.
it's pretty gross.
The next, are you talking about the next one between the king and his daughter?
Yeah, yep.
Yep.
I
Where he's now going for his daughter and his daughter kicks him off and yells for Griffith.
you know what? I have a moment here where like I'm kind of theorizing some characterization for the king because it was explained when when they were telling the queen's backstory that the king's former wife
That
died and this queen was
Mhm.
just the second marriage that he got.
Yeah, this is just the political marriage. He didn't really actually like her and she didn't really care for him back. It's just it's royalty, it's whatever.
So this
But
is
then you
just
see the king being like, you look to his daughter like you've looked just like your mother.
yes, and that's what I kind
Meaning
of
like,
wanted to
oh,
put a pin on.
he loved his first wife that much.
Yeah, where it got to a very unhealthy degree.
Yeah.
So that's my speculation for the king.
Hmm.
So, man, my next note is Guts leaves for one day and the Hawk is fucking gone. Holy shit, that scene of all the Hawk members lining up in the hill was brutal to see.
Yeah. Well, they're just like, hey, what's going on? Why are we all out here? And then you get like one of the very few lines of dialogue from Pippin just being, everyone take cover. Which is funny because even the other people are like, holy shit, Pippin talks.
Yep. in that moment. And it's just,
And then
man,
yeah, it's
dude. I know
a massacre.
this isn't as bloody or as like gruesome or gory or sexually violent as the other scenes, but I think this is one of the most traumatizing scenes for me because it's one of those things where it's so heartbreaking of you pour your blood and sweat and tears into helping a nation, a kingdom, like people around you, only for them to stab you in the back.
Yep.
It's
And you
so
have no idea
heartbreaking,
why.
dude.
They had no idea. Like, why are you guys shooting at us? What the fuck did we do? What happened?
They didn't do, yeah, the Hawk themselves didn't do anything. And
It's
honestly, what Griffith did even wasn't all that bad because Charlotte wasn't too bothered by it.
mhm. It's just because of the king's jealousy. That's all it was.
And that's all it ended up pinning towards. It's just like, fuck, dude, really? This is all it takes?
Yep. And from the looks of it, it looks like the Band of the Hawk is completely wiped out.
Yeah. That's kind of the last we see of them before the time skip.
Yep.
It
Because
just kind
at
of looks
this
like that.
point, it's just like, what the fuck happened?
It's fucked.
And then you also see Griffith lose his Baelot. Because like you get the
Mm.
moment where the
The torturer
the
guy.
torture, yeah, the torturer picks it up and then drops it in the sewer. And it's just like, ah, well, that sucks.
Yep. I'm sure that's gonna come up later.
Yep.
Looking forward to that.
Mira's really good at setting the scenes for things and stuff that aren't gonna happen for like volumes later.
Yeah.
Not
Looking.
just chapters, but like volumes. Because
Yeah.
you're not gonna see the Baelot for a while.
I'm definitely feeling it here. That's for sure.
Mm.
So yeah. After this is a 1 year. It's a 1 year time skip. So do you have anything to say before we advance to that next volume?
No, other than just the desperation for the Hawks and just how heartbreaking it was.
All
Where it's
right.
just like, what the fuck? And then you have a time skip, and it's tournament time.
So my very first bulletin point here is, man, out of all the designs, I think the Desert Warrior is one of the sickest fucking ones.
Salat
Yeah, that guy looks sick as fuck, bro.
or Salat, however you say his name.
Yeah.
Salat's fucking cool. And if you like his design, I have good news for you. Because he essentially becomes like not a sidekick, but like a friendly character for Guts. An
Okay,
ongoing,
he keeps showing up then.
yeah, he'll keep showing up.
All
He
right, sick.
uh basically it's like that friendly rivalry type thing where they'll face off against one another, but neither one of them ever really kills the other. It's just they fight and then they leave, then they fight and then they leave. They'll help each other out from time to time, but it's always kind of like that weird, that frenemy type relationship.
Okay, let's try to avoid too much spoilers and move on to my next point.
My
And
bad.
I want to sideline a little bit and just talk about a little reference. So I'll try to make this quick because I know you never played it. But in Octopath Traveler, there's a chapter where you are in a tournament in a kind of like dirty area. And
Hmm.
in here, for some reason, there's this one champion all in black armor with a massive fucking sword that no one can beat and go solo. And all I thought is like, oh, that's a neat Guts reference. I wonder why they put him in a tournament though. And when I saw this, I'm
You
like,
see,
oh man, they didn't even try.
yeah, they're like, oh, it's just Guts.
They didn't even try, bro.
Yeah. It just goes to show the massive influence Berserk has had on media, on
it,
not
re-
just like manga, but like anime and video games, on both the West and the East. You see references to Guts all the time, everywhere.
yeah, yeah. So I thought that was pretty fun. A little side note. So yeah, no, what's Guts been up to? Just fighting for the hell of
Yeah,
it.
just fighting. He's just going to tournaments. He's fighting, but he's not killing. If you've noticed, he hasn't
Hmm.
been killing
Hmm.
people. He's just like, no, I'm just doing duels. I'm fighting the best of the best, And here's Slot, this weird dude from a different country with a bunch of weird weapons, and I want to face off with him, and
Once
he
again,
does.
once again, bouncing off from that final fight with Griffith. You're right, because in his final shot of him fighting, he didn't attack Griffith. Or like, well,
Yeah,
he didn't kill Griffith. He
he didn't
was
kill him.
perfectly knew how to spare him deliberately. And then here you see that pivotal point starts to move forward with Griffith, or sorry, with Guts as well. Where now he's
Yeah,
just kind of like, I don't really care about killing people. I just want to fight them.
yeah. I just want a good fight. Where and you can see like this is if Guts was left to his own devices, this is what he would be. He would just be a tournament guy. He's like, yeah, I really like fighting. I want to learn every martial art I can. I want to learn every swordsmanship I can. I'm just gonna go from town to town learning something new. A traveling vagabond.
Yeah, kind of fits
I
Guts.
do. This I do want to mention, and for whatever reason, I thought this dude was really funny. Uh, it's just a side character that Guts is like, "Hey man, I'm gonna fight Salat. You go sit down." And the guy's like, "But it's my turn." And Guts is like, "Don't worry about
That
it.
guy got
I got."
sidelined.
Yeah, the guy got sidelined so hard in his own fight, but it's just that dorky little look on his face and him waddling away. I fucking love. Where it's like, "Oh, no fair,
Bro
poor
got
guy."
mogged so hard.
Yeah, it's like you don't know how lucky you are, buddy, to not have to fight one of those two. But at the same time, I kind of feel for you,
He,
poor
he,
dude.
he wanted to prove himself.
Yeah, he wanted to prove he was a good fighter.
But yeah, that tournament scene was pretty fun with the fight between the Desert Warrior and Guts.
Oh yeah, and it's cool because it starts off with the first fight with the massacre guy, the big dude versus Salat, and how
Yeah.
that dude's swinging, swinging, swinging. Slosh is like playing around. He's just dodging. He's not really caring. He's not taking the fight seriously. And then you have this moment with Salat where he's doing swinging, swinging, swinging at Guts, and Guts is doing the same thing, where he's just like yada yada yada, just dodging, dodging, dodging. And Salat's starting to get frustrated with it, where he's like, "What the fuck? I can't land a blow on this guy."
Yeah,
And
that
then
was really cool.
he does his little boot trick thing, and Guts just swats him away with his sword. Just like, nah, fuck you.
Really showing off how strong Guts is himself at this point. Because now he also
Hmm.
just has more control over the situation.
Yeah, he has more control of the situation. He's not letting his emotions get to him. He's paying attention to the fight. Like you could see, like he's definitely matured a lot over that last year.
And to that point, as we mentioned before, he's having fun.
Yeah, he's having fun. He's generally smiling in the fight.
So yeah, to that point, nothing else
But
I can really
then,
comment on the tournament. The Guts wins, and then he
yep,
hears about the Hawks. That's kind
yep,
of the
he
points you get
hears where
from
it's
that.
like, oh yeah, we're going after some bandit group called the Hawks and their woman leader. And Guts is immediately fucking Costco. What happened?
Yeah.
Why are they bandits now? And why is Costco leading them? What happened?
So my next bulletin point here is the damage talk 1 year later.
Yep, where they are licking their wounds, just trying to stay afloat. You have this really nice moment with Judo and Casca where it's her trying to like plan a route to get to Griffith and break him out. And Judo is just like, hey, you need to eat and sleep. Like you haven't slept in days. You're not eating. Here's a bowl of soup. Get some rest.
Yeah, Costco's going through it.
And yeah, she is going through it. And you see her just break down at her table where she just slams her head into it and just you see her like start having tears. So she's definitely just exhausted.
Yeah,
She is done with this.
Costco's specialization has always been like a middle manager.
Hmm.
She's never been good at the overarching leader position.
Yeah, and you could tell that the stress of that, plus the stress of trying to plan to find Griffith and break him out, and then all the while also being hunted down by other kingdoms, or not other kingdoms, other armies, is just you could tell it's stressing her out. It is worn like way, way weighed itself on her.
She's the one that has
She's
to make the
super worn
choices.
down. Yeah,
It's rough.
she's now making all the hard choices, which so far she's done an all right job. She's getting a lot of the guys out alive.
Considering the cards she's dealt with.
Exactly.
Which speaking of the cards, dang, right at that moment, the Desert Warrior and some of his crew was like, fuck it, let's make some bank. Starts attacking the Band of the Hawk right and then.
Yep. Goes straight at them and starts hunting them down. And you have a little showdown between Salat and Casca. And you think that Casca's going to lose. And then you see a boot kick Salat off. and there he is, the hero of the story, just standing there.
Guts
Which I
once
love.
again or farming.
Yep,
The man
once
cannot
again, Aura
stop.
for me. I just love how he's introduced. It's not some big badass, like cool scene.
It's true.
It's literally just him kicking Salat and be like, "Get out of here, punk! This is my show."
And then turns back to Kafka being like, hey.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, don't let a street performer hurt you."
So casually. But
Yep.
yeah,
And then
fucking
you see the rest of the band of the Hawk just be like, "It's fucking Guts!
everyone is
Let's
so excited to
go!"
see him.
Yeah, everyone's excited. Everyone, because it's like one of those things where like, if he's there, you're going to be safe
That's
because
true.
he's such a good fighter. You always know, like, all right, no matter what, we're going to live.
You can always rely on Guts.
Yep.
And they were right because he just fucking kicks the dude's ass again.
Yeah. And this time they're actually trying to kill each other rather than just a tournament. And I love that the dude throws his chakrams and Guts just catches them. He's like, oh, these are cool little toys.
He's just toying around with him again.
Yeah, and he tries to throw them, and of course he fucks up with them. I'm like, I don't know, I tried.
It's super goofy.
Yeah, it's like, it just shows like he doesn't see Salat as much of a threat. He's just playing with them, and it pisses Salat off so much that he pulls out his sword whips.
Yeah.
Which, that one to me is interesting that's in here because those are real weapons. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but like that is a real weapon from India, is the sword whips.
I think I have seen him once before.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. They're weird weapons, but it's neat because now Guts is like, oh, this is fun. This is something I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And Casca mentions like he gets that look on his face where he's like, he's in, he's locked in, he's having fun. This is right where he wants to be.
Exactly. It's a nice little point of showing how far he's come as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
as well as even Casca, because it's Casca's pointing out where she knows Guts enough where there's a certain look he gets when he's enjoying himself, where he's locked into a fight.
Yeah. So my next bulletin point here is kind of a tiny one that's meant to cover a lot. So this is kind of a more, let's just feel out what we want to talk about. The bulletin point here is fight, breakup, suicide, sex. Got a lot to cover here, not Kai.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you want to start from here? Because a lot happens, I think.
Before we go into this, I do want to point out that you see Salat get hit.
Yes.
It's a very, very, very minor little cut. It's just like basically across his forehead, but it's enough to take off his hood. And you see Salat's face being like, oh, fuck. No one's landed a hit on me. Oh, no. He's like, shit. All right, this guy is actually strong enough to take me on. Time to retreat. My men aren't going to beat this dude.
Yeah, kind of runs away with his tail behind his legs.
Yep. And then you have Guts and Casca reunite. And I love his first words back to her. It's just, yo. Like, hey, what's up? It's just like completely nonchalant. Like nothing's happened.
Like it's only been 5 seconds.
What's up? And of course, he gets rushed by everyone else, and Rick is super happy and all that.
Yeah, everyone celebrates Guts coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Being like, oh yeah, I think his name was Gaston. Yo, why are you here, bro?
Yeah, Gaston is. Even he is like, yo, you're still alive.
Yeah, Gaston was like, I came here because the Band of the Hawk needed me.
Yeah.
He shut down his store to come back.
Even Corcus is still there, which is interesting because they do make note that like all the members who were just kind of there just to be there have all left. Everyone that's remaining are the people that were all loyal to Griffith. And so the fact that Corcus is there does kind of lead you to believe like,
Tsundere Corcus strikes again.
Yeah, Tsundere Corcus, you're not a bad guy. You're not in it just for the fame and whatnot. You actually are friends with, or you care for Griffith to an extent. You care for the other members of the Band of the Hawk.
No, I don't, Baka.
No, I'm just here for the alcohol. But I'll still save you.
But I kind of want to get to the meat and potatoes of it, and that's gonna be Casca and Guts.
Mm-hmm.
In the
but I'm gonna keep blue balling you. I'm gonna
What
keep
have you got?
blueballing
All
you
right.
on this
What else you want to talk
because
about,
you
mate?
do because you do have Rickett going over with like what's happened over the last year and how they mentioned like the reason that Hawk was able to survive was due to Kafka's leadership, where even though she was
Hmm.
stuck with arrows, she was still able to command the rest of the Hawk and have them break through that ambush and manage to save a lot of their guys.
Yeah, once again, emphasizing her toughness.
Yep, it's doing that as well as it does goes to show that the guys that are there, they're not there because like part of me thinks like they're not just there to save Griffith. They're there because they owe her. Because they're like, hey, she got us out of this. She saved us. It's big sis. We're gonna protect her. We're with her.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a huge amount of respect those men have for Kafka.
Yeah. I mean, they've always had that. The Band of the Hawk, I've always been like that, to be fair.
Oh, for sure. But I think at this moment it really is emphasized where they mentioned like no one ever challenged her. No one ever challenged her for her leadership. Everyone's like, yeah, whatever you need, we'll follow you.
Who's going to go against Big Sis Casca?
Exactly. It's big sis. You can't go against her.
But yeah, anything else you want to cover?
No. Oh, yes, actually. That after that, Judo mentions like, hey, whenever Casca was dreaming or whenever she had her night terrors, she would say your name.
Mira's being
Like
like, guys, Casca likes guts. I'm like, all right, Mira, I get
Casca,
it. Just let me
and
see
again, it's
him.
through Judo of
I
all
get it,
people.
Mira.
Yeah, it's usually Judo.
Man,
But it's
the,
a good
the
little
sword
subtlety.
breaking. She's worried
Yeah.
about guts during the Griffith fight.
Mhm.
This now, I'm like, okay, Mira, I get it. Just
I know. It's just that build up. It's all build up to the next chapter that we're about to see, where it's
uh,
again, it's Judah being like, "Hey, Guts, Casca does care about you. She says your name when she sleeps. Like, she's there is something there. I know you thought that she only cared about Griffith. No, there is some level of you in there too.
yeah,
And then we could finally let you have your release, which is Guts and Casca goes off and they're under a waterfall and they have a duel,
yeah,
which it's a good duel, but it's such a heartbreaking thing because it is Guts. Again, this is a dude who can't really express himself emotionally all that well, but the way he does it is through fighting. And in a sense, it's almost like he's doing that with Casca, where he's allowing Casca to take out her anger, her rage, her frustration, everything that she's been pent up this last year on him at this moment, where he's just letting her will, like just fucking swing at him. He's, of course, he's dodging and whatnot and parrying attacks, but he's just like, just go. He's never, I don't think he ever actually will. Yeah, no, he never actually uh uses his sword in the entire fight, other than just parries.
yeah,
He never takes a strike at her. He just lets her just unload onto him.
yeah.
And the whole
And
time you can see her just slowly breaking down, just yelling, screaming, just letting her emotions out.
to the point where she gets both physically and mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm sure in that scene, she probably felt helpless, despite it only being kind of, Guts isn't really doing anything. She's still hearing them out. But it kind of shows that even she can't do anything in this moment. I think just kind of
Hmm.
it's all just weighing more on her in that scene.
Yeah.
So she gets eventually she gets closer to the cliff,
Yeah. And
and she's
but
just
you do
like,
have a moment where she does stab Guts.
"That's true."
And she even mentions like you should have been able to dodge that. So he just takes the stab. He's just like, whatever. And he catches the blade in his hand too. He's hanging onto the blade with his hand.
That's a very Guts behavior thing to do.
Yeah. But he does point out, like, she says, like, Griffith is nothing without you. And all Guts's response was, like, I just wanted to do my own thing. All this happened because I just wanted to do my own thing. Griffith couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
It's almost kind of like a sad disbeliefness that Guts have in this, where he's like, Griffiths was supposed to be the strong leader, and he couldn't handle one of his men leaving. Like, what the hell?
yeah. I think even Guts himself put Griffith on a high pedestal.
Yeah, where he thought Griffith was stronger than what he really was.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you have Casca just being like, I can't take this anymore.
You have Casca
And
X Cliff once
it's
again.
yep, Casca X Cliff once again. And you see Guts once again go and save her.
And then they fuck. No, there's more in between.
And then they they have a extremely beautiful moment of just the two of them sitting there holding each other.
Yeah. So I want to speculate a little bit on the themes of Berserk but before I get into this, and that's I said it before in the very first discussion that we had that Berserk had a lot more sexual scenes than I thought it initially believed.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I read this series, the more I start to notice that these scenes don't happen for the sake of it. There's usually a point to them.
Yes, they are extremely fucking important. Which is why I would always say, like, if you were any adaptations, they cannot cut this scene with Guts and Casca. Or the scene with Griffith and the princess. Those are two of the most important scenes.
They're so vital in characterization. More than you would think.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
We could have an entire 20-minute discussion where, like, wow, Casca's ass looks amazing. I don't really care about those details.
No, it's... And, like, yes, it's a sex scene, but it's a very tasteful scene, too.
Yeah.
It's not like when you're reading a hentai and it's just in your face. This is extremely tasteful.
Yeah. So, essentially throughout the entirety of it, you see that both of them are trying to warm up to each other and try to be more comfortable with each other. And
like
it's a very slow scene.
It is. And like, I love this scene. This whole moment of Guts and Casca is probably one of my favorite, if not my number one favorite moment in the entire series. It's this whole scene. Just because it's two people who are laying out their flaws, all their traumas, their flaws, their problems, everything they have, all their issues out there in the open, and having the other person still being, I accept you. I see you for all of your flaws. I see you for all of your problems. It's okay. So, I still love you.
So Kai, it doesn't happen quite immediately because only Casca has done that.
Yes.
Guts
and
is
midway through the scene,
Guts is still leading Casca.
Yep.
That's what I want to add.
But he has a PTSD moment.
This moment shocked me entirely. I was not expecting this to come out of nowhere. And what you see at the very end of this, Guts is going through his very emotional scene and trauma of back with Donovan, I think was his name.
Mm-hmm.
Back with Donovan. It's all coming back because Donovan reminds him of his vulnerability, reminding him of Gambino, reminding him of his childhood. Like, it all strings together. And you see this portrayed within the nightmare scenes, kind of turning into a PTSD scene.
Mm-hmm. And he breaks down in front of her.
And the scene that comes up after Guts kind of realizes where he's at is he's choking Casca.
Yeah, and he comes to, and he's like, "Fuck, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go."
Yeah, even like Guts starts making like I don't know. He's trying to divert what he just did, being like, "Look, just send me on the battlefield or whatever. This couldn't happen. I'll make it up to you on the battlefield. Just tell me what to do. Whatever. This was a bad idea." Like, it's a whole bunch of things. And I believe if this was any other woman, they probably would have ran away from Guts.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been like, "I don't want to touch Guts. He's a freak, or he tried to kill me, or there's too much hidden underneath." But Casca knows Guts well enough at this point, because he knows he bottles up his emotions. And for Guts to do this is kind of a humbling thing, that he's willing to spill out his emotions like that.
Yeah, to spill out his emotions, to lay all of his trauma out in front of her, and for her to her response is literally just hug him.
Yeah.
And that's it. She just gives him a hug and she's like, no, I still love you. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, oh, like this is one of those scenes where it's like, no matter who you are, every person dreams of a relationship like this, where it's like you can lay out all of your traumas, all of your past, problems and things that all of your concerns, things that scare you, and have another person just be like, it's okay, I still accept you. It's just, oh, it's beautiful. I
So
love it.
so to me, this was very important for me to buy into the Casca and Guts thing because for so long it's felt kind of one sided from Casca, where she's the only one laying out the emotions for Guts, and Guts maybe has given her a bone or two, but kind of mostly nothing for the most part.
Mhm.
And it was during this scene where you see Guts kind of breaking down, where it now feels like a relationship. It is now a two-way street.
Yeah.
Both are supporting each other, and they need each other in this moment.
Hmm.
And without getting too much into detail, because I'll get a little flustered, this is also expressed in probably like 4 pages worth of them bonding.
Oh, it's like an entire chapter of this stuff, or two
Yeah,
chapters, really.
I'll blush if I get it going into
It's
detail, but
it's, it's a lot of
it is
nudity,
expressed.
but again, it's very tasteful nudity. It's not like in your face like some hentais are.
Yeah, yeah. So the only the only bulleted point I wanted to summarize this whole entire segment is good sex scene.
It
That's
is
it.
like it is a legitimately good sex scene. Like this is like, in my opinion, what sex should be. It's it's an emotional bonding thing between two people who ideally truly love and care for one another, not just like a whatever one night stand like what Griffith had.
And there's actually one thing I want to point out with the Griffith, his own sex scene, which funny enough, it's kind of a funny that he also got one, kind of reflecting the other
Mhm.
two. Um, there's a few panels within Griffith's scene where you see him thinking about Guts. So while he's getting with Charlotte, he isn't even thinking about her. Griffith is still thinking about Guts. Funny enough.
Yeah, he's still thinking about losing the control over Guts. He's still broken over that. Which
Yeah.
again just leads to me like my analogy of like that's just a Tinder date. He sees her as nothing more than just his own plaything, and he's just trying to boost his own ego. Meanwhile, the scene of Guts and Casca is a legitimate like no, they love one another. They actually care for each other now.
Yeah, and what you're seeing in Guts's kind of panels in this scene is you're seeing all his childhood trauma kind of, I want to say disappear, but it's all centralizing to the moments of kindness he remembers.
Hmm.
So within this scene, I think it's emphasizing that him bonding with Casca is an important scene of kindness to him.
Yeah, and you see that at the last page of the chapter where he's like at the end, all he felt like was that like the boy again sitting on the tree,
Yeah, he felt
where he
all let
just he
go.
felt like his young self again. And it's just like, oh,
And that's the end of volume 9. But I don't know how the original manga set this up. But in the deluxe edition, I can confirm this. Next to that scene of not Griffith, Guts and Casca lying next to each other, to the left of it is just one single panel of a bloodied Griffith, almost like like he's
smiling.
staring at them.
No, that's in the regular volume as well,
I like to believe that was intentional.
where he is watching over them or something. Where he
Yeah.
because you're gonna see when we start reading the next arc that Griffith does not particularly approve of the relationship between these two. He doesn't really like it.
All right. That's gonna be a fun thing to get into.
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty much everything covered in Deluxe 3. Oh my god, dude. I can't believe these keep getting longer, bro.
Dude, they're always gonna keep getting longer because they're so good.
Oh man.
Uh,
These file
They're
sizes are gonna burst my folders, bro.
oh, no worries. I mean, I've at that point where I've thought about making videos on Berserk, and I'm just like, there's so much to say. You can never do it in one video.
Fair enough. All
I
right.
will say though, and because I was thinking
Yeah.
about this the other day, where Guts and Griffith, and in the next chapter, just to skip ahead a little bit, Casca does point out to both or to Guts, like, you and Griffith are kind of the same, where you guys are both after your own dreams and whatnot. Um, they are. They both are very similar, but it's so interesting because the two of them are so similar to one another, but yet they take such completely different paths.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's almost like the idea, like, they both stared into the abyss, but the difference is that Griffith blinked and Guts didn't.
Yeah, I think.
Where
Mm,
Guts can handle going off on his own. He can handle
I was gonna add
laying
that
out all
point.
of his emotions to someone. He could handle being an emotional person. But Griffith can't. Griffith hates it when people see him for who he is. He hates it when people see when his mask slips, which is why he's always trying to wear his mask. He hates it when he loses control, so he has to go and boost his own ego in order to gain control again. He, like, Griffith is not a strong man, like, at all. He's a good leader, but he's not a strong leader. He's not a strong man.
Yeah.
But
What?
you see the difference with Guts, where Guts is a strong man. He is able to show his emotions now. He is able to express himself. He may not be able to, like, put it into words, but he could put it into actions,
Yeah.
which I think is
When
the perfect
it.
way to describe Guts. He's a man of action, not a man of words.
Yeah. When it comes to the general broad strokes of intelligence, Griffith is a glass cannon, while Guts is an all rounder.
Yeah.
Guts can kind of handle each situation with enough of a point of defending himself.
Mm-hmm.
He knows just enough about the intelligence of things to kind of make sure he's always at least on a mentally stable note.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
Griffith
when
is
he's in his
extremely
berserk
intelligent
fueled
and
rage.
extremely ambitious and extremely inspiring, but he's so emotionally weak inside, and he doesn't know how to connect with people legitimately.
Exactly. Like, that's why I see Griffith as having like an ego problem, where he is so attached to his ego that as soon as his ego is fractured, he breaks down as a man. He completely loses it.
But not entirely in all scenes, because we once again we're kind of going back to, he was bantering with Guts back when he was saying, "Do you think I was too harsh?" This was
Mhm.
Griffith showing off that he's
This
willing
is
to let go of his ego in front of
yeah,
Guts.
this is one of the few moments where he's willing to let go and be human, and it's only whenever he's around Guts.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Guts makes the decision to leave, that's why it tears Griffith up so much more than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Because essentially Griffith is losing his emotional support animal.
Yeah.
Like,
This is the DPS losing his tank.
yep, this, like, he is now freaking out. He's like, shit, what am I gonna do? Everything that just held me together is now gone. Oh god, I'm gonna start making mistakes. Oh fuck, I made a really bad mistake, and now I'm being tortured for a year, and all my men are dead.
All went to shit. All went to
Yep,
shit
all
like
went to
that.
shit, and it's all worthless. Who cares? And even that scene with him in the prison cell, he goes, "It was all worthless." Like, he's completely given up on his dream now.
Yeah. So, dang, dude, Volume 3 was so crazy good, man.
Mhm.
Like, it's kind of funny because I feel the volumes so far, at least, sorry, the deluxe edition, at least in my eyes,
Yeah,
have,
deluxe edition,
have
volume
been
2. This
so,
is basically volume 7 through 9.
yeah, I felt they've kind of been themed over each character, where it feels like Deluxe Edition 1 was Guts's volumes. Deluxe 2 was Griffith's chapter or Griffith's volumes, and number 3 was Casca's.
Mhm.
So it's kind of
Sets up
interesting that
the
the trio
3
has
main
kind of been
characters.
completed at this point, and now we're gonna move forward to seeing, okay, here's how they're like. What's gonna trickle down afterwards?
Yep. We know what happens to Guts. What's going to happen to the rest of the band?
Yes.
What happened to him?
So, with that said, do you think you're ready to close it off? Because I I gotta edit this, man. I'm the one that's
I
gotta
know. We're
I'm the one that's gotta go
almost
into
two and a
DaVinci
half
and
hours.
fucking do this shit, bro.
Oh, I could just talk about Berserk so long. I mean, I will say that these last 3 volumes, or the volume 3 of the deluxe editions, volumes 7 through 9 of the regular manga, is probably some of the best in this series. It is
Mm-hmm.
just so fucking good.
It's
This,
fantastic.
yeah, this is what elevates Berserk to the status that it's at.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure you had plenty of moments where you just could not put it down, where you're like, I have to know more.
Like I said, it wasn't even chapter to chapter, it was page by page.
Yeah, or it's just you got to keep going.
But yes. Kai, I'm sorry, but I need to be an asshole, stomp my foot and say this needs to end. I gotta
No
I got
worries. It is late. We're 2.5 hours into this. It is fine.
All right, everyone. Thank you everyone for joining us in the discussion for Berserk Deluxe Edition 3. I have been Hazar, and with me today has been the once again amazing Kai the Crusader.
Goodbye, guys. Have a good night or
Well-
day or whatever you're watching. And please read Berserk. It is fantastic.
If you haven't already. And once again, like Kai said, thanks so much for watching. We'll be covering Deluxe Edition 4 hopefully next week. And
Yep.
where
And that will be volumes, 10, 11, 12, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah. So till then, see you guys later, and I hope everything goes well. We'll see you in Deluxe Edition 4. Goodbye,
Bye.
everyone.